Hallelujah.
That now say, brother, that you say, brother.
Hallelujah. Barak Hashem. The warrior.
I like this beat.
We the bloodline of Abraham. Y'all was about to kill us, but he gave a ram. Messiah laid his life down, he gave a lamb. Tap up in that spirit, cause we able now. Look at the times. That nation who they serve, I'm a judge, he ain't lying. Oh Babylon, don't you forget that you touch mine. Abraham descendants like the stars in the sky. We get signals from the Father, earthquakes and the lava. We know that our King coming, you do not want a problem. Every knee gon' bow, everybody give him on. Every tongue gon' confess that's the Son of the Father. We living in the times, we gon' see the second coming. He opening them seals from the heavens, ain't no running. Put away your sins if you love him and you trust him. Blow your wings, protect your servants, yeah. 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 How you don't believe? You the one who asked for a king when the Father gave us everything. How you don't believe? Messiah went to hell, took the keys. Right now you should drop to your knees. How you don't believe? We was all blind, we could see.
I could not be here breathing and be comfortable if I was really as bad as they was making it. You know, nobody could be around me. So for me to be this calm, I must have some kind of inner peace. And my inner peace is knowing that once everybody take the time to really see what type of person I am, you'd be surprised that I stuck around this long. I have to make the life that I do live as happy as I can and try to do the best with what I have. You know, live the best life I can live, be as happy as I can be. Nothing is perfect for anybody. I don't know.
Boys, I swear, I think I figured it out. You know why they don't want us redneck brothers and sisters and the hood brothers and sisters getting along? You know why? Because we'd be unstoppable. I'm telling you right now, we would shut shit down.
People shut shit down. Blessings. Welcome to Uncensored Enlightenment Talk, guys. Y'all gonna have to bear with me. My voice is still a little crackly. I got the tea on the side. As I talk, my voice is gonna clear up, okay? Please bear with me. Pray for Grace Levi. She going through it in the background. So today, as I promised, I wanted to share with people who don't know and people who do know about what's going on in Dalton in detail some of the things that's been happening over the last 2 to 3 years. So me being kind of new to what's going on, I said I had to do some investigation. I needed to figure out what was going on, who are the players, who do what, and how things actually got the way it is. Okay. So we're going to be doing a series. This is going to be episode 1. My goal is to do this during the daytime. So this is going to be like a soap opera. Okay. Now, today, I do have 2 hours worth of clips, but we're not going to do the full 2 hours. Now, the 2 hours worth of clips that I have encompass board meetings from July all the way to September. Okay. And I'm just going to give you a little breakdown before that. This is July 2021. I do apologize, to September 2021. This is a little bit after Miss Henyard got in office. Okay. So we're going to highlight some things that's going on. We're going to go to a flashback of May's meeting. This meeting happened on May 17th that we're going to show you after my commentary. And it's going to show you where things start to kind of spark up between the trustees and Tiffany. Now, what I will say is to the people who watch this, Grace Levi is going to try to be unbiased as possible. I'm going to try to address this from a professional level. I'm going to address this from a level like I'm on a nursing floor. I know how hard it is to deal with disgruntled co-workers, people with bad behaviors, bad attitudes, and positions to ruin your life. But we still have to participate in those environments in a certain way so it could be cohesive for the people that we cater to. So I'm going to try to keep it on that level, but we will stray because I'm still Grace Levi and I'm not at work, and I will express my emotions. So he's going to make it well-rounded, a little funny, a little serious. But the reason why we're going through this, because one, I know there's a lot of distractions going on. This is specifically for Dolton. This is for the Dolton residents, because a lot of you probably have forgot of all of the things that has happened over the time. And how did you get here? Why do you feel this way towards Tiffany Henyard? Why do you feel this way towards the trustees? Do you trust the trustees? Do they have your best interests in mind? Do you feel like they're playing their role? Good. Because we already know how you feel about Tiffany Henyard. So those are some of the things that we're going to address. I want you guys to understand that I'm not biased. My main perspective, honestly, at the end of the day, the same way I am at work, the people come first. I could care less about titles. I'm just going to be real. I love people. I respect people. I respect their positions. But as long as they're doing them correctly, everything is all G. Because at the end of the day, I'm still the regular people. So that's my perspective, just to give you a heads up. So as we go through this, you guys can leave your comments. I'm going to try to play like 10 minutes of clips and not interrupt. I'm going to try not to unless it's significant. And then I'm going to come in with my commentary. And you guys can give your comments, because Dolton residents do matter, and the general public, because these issues that we're highlighting here are issues going around in a lot of different towns, okay? And even as you hear me talking about Fulton County, I'm not from Fulton County, but I would assume that is more crookedness going on behind the scenes as well. So we're going to get to April's meeting. Let me see, April 2021, some of the notes that I had. Let me see if there's anything that was significant. On April 19th, 2021, it was an audit done of the financial records. According to my notes and observation, from what they were saying, that it seemed like it was a $2.6 million deficit, allegedly. Now, from what I was hearing in that particular video, they were saying something about basically there wasn't a lot of funding coming in 2020 because of COVID. A lot of people, tickets, things like that were down. So a lot of revenue did not come in, and taxes also was an issue of collection. So I'm just going to keep that in mind. But it was saying around 21 minutes to 22 minutes, and I'll probably highlight that just in a little reel, about $2.6 million allegedly. Okay. And then the reason why that brought that up to me, because it stood out to me, because House said something like, do you have any good news for us? You see what I'm saying? So I knew he felt something was kind of off, but that was them coming out of COVID. So we're going to keep that in mind. Now, around that time, that was the time where they were making a planning budget for July. Okay. Now, around that time, they were planning on doing, or Henyard was planning on doing a fireworks show. So that fireworks show allegedly was supposed to cost about $30,000 average. What I saw in that particular meeting, because that's some of the things we're going to address today in some of the clips in the months that come, because you know these more board meetings is every month. So it kind of build on. That's why this is going to be a soap opera. Around that time, the board okayed $5,000 of the board money, of the town's money, to help for the fireworks. This is what I saw. This is what I observed. Tiffany Henyard said that there were people who were going to donate. There were companies who wanted to participate. So they would have funding coming towards this. Everything was handled. So I was like, okay, cool. She got people who backing her up. They already set a budget. Now, $30,000 was just something put out there, but it was not put out there under the assumption to me that the board was going to pay for that. So I just want to highlight that because that situation is going to be readdressed possibly in today's live or our next live, because this is going to be a continuation. So just keep that in mind, that this particular show has some contingency around it. So then in that same meeting, they started to talk about the chief of police. And at that time, it wasn't actually not the chief of police made an announcement, and they were talking about a lot of the complaints that was going on in Dolton about the inactivity of the police and things not being solved and issues, just other issues. And at that time, I will say that it was not perfect. So we can't say that Lacey came in and stirred everything up. There were issues that the community wanted to address at that time. So I'm highlighting this because this seems like this was something that was happening. People had mentioned that they had issues with the other mayor. So please pay attention to this, that this is not new. Now, I highlight this because you don't want to just vote people in and out. You may want to be part of it. You may want to be part of Dolton's administration. They're coming up for election. There are people who are educated in certain fields that may feel like they can do better. They may, didn't like how things was handled. So this is the time for you guys to reevaluate, because November is coming up soon, and I know big changes are coming for people. All right. So let's keep that in mind. Now, let me see if anything I want to point out from May 3rd meeting. Andrew Holmes was missing, like most of the meetings, back and forth, a little old self. And every time he came in there, he pretty much was, from what I noticed, siding with Tiffany, but I was just observing. So let me see. Now, at this time, I did started to notice that she did have a lawyer, and that lawyer was not the lawyer that she has now. And you're going to see the lawyer that she do have. And that lawyer, he seems like he's a bucket. So we're going to get into him as well. And now what we're going to do is get into May 17th. We're going to put the clip up. It starts at 24 minutes. And this is when they talk about the inauguration pay. There's some issues to talk about the inauguration pay. And some of the things that was allegedly approved, but then was not approved. So this was the next issue that started to make the board members feel away, not only just the 4th of July situation that we will bring up, but the actual inauguration pay. It seems like the event went far beyond what the trustees would have assumed that it was going to be. And this was the outcome.
And they should be attached. This was for the backdrop, banners, flowers, poster, cards, mask, hand sanitizer, t-shirt, food, DJ, staff, and other miscellaneous items like invitations, flyers, congratulation cards, invitation posters, retrackable banners, and the setup and breakdown of the decor. And also, I'm sorry, decoration for the dinner, the inauguration dinner.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. And if you didn't get it, trustee, I'll send it to you again.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Are there any other questions?
Mayor, if I could be recognized?
Sure. Go ahead, trustee.
Just kind of just a brief discussion that I think the mayor and myself had about this is making sure that we, from a budget standpoint, just making sure that items over 5,000 are presented to the board in advance. I think because of some of the speed of some of it, this came out faster, but I think we wanted to make sure that we maintain what our practices are around good budgeting.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Quick question. The motion was to approve for the affordable party planner, and then it stated to send the other items to the warrant list. Is that correct?
Yes.
Correct. Okay. So them being put on the warrant list, does that mean that the village is still going to pay for them? Correct.
Or it's still up for a vote. It's still up for a vote. Anything on the warrant list is still up for a vote.
Okay, I just needed clarity. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay, there's a motion and second on the floor. Please call the roll, Clerk Key.
Trustee Holmes, absent. Trustee Norwood. Trustee Steve.
Aye.
Trustee Belcher.
No.
Trustee House.
Aye.
Trustee Brown.
Aye.
All right. So as you can see, the inauguration, when they started talking about, the funding for it, there were yays, and Ms. Belcher said no. Okay. This is because she had some questions about some of the billing of what will be going on. And she didn't, I do understand why she said no, because what they were talking about was pretty abstract. And that's something that I noticed that Ms. Henyard does a lot. She keeps things vague, and I know that makes these individuals uncomfortable.
All right, motion carries 3-1.
4-1.
4-1. I'm sorry, 4-1. I'm like,
But she still
4-1.
won.
Okay, moving on. For item number 4 is being removed, or it is being attached to the warrant list as well. So we're not going to pay it out today. So we're going to remove item 4, and it will be on the warrant list. Number 5, discussion and action regarding roof repair of the village buildings. So that's fire station number 1 and 2, police department, and village hall. Now this is also being removed because you guys do have 1 quote, and you will get 2 more, which one came in today, and we will send you guys an email, and you guys can decide from the email whether you guys want to go with A, B, or C for the vendor to repair the roofs. But I will pray you guys look at this or go to each station. It's really, really bad. It's been like that over time. And I do want the employees to know that we do care about them, and they shouldn't be coming to work with holes and roofs and leaking in locker rooms, things of that nature. And I don't want anything to turn to mold. So if you guys can go, just look and be prepared to give an answer as relates to which proposal you want to go with.
Now, I want you guys to please understand what's going on here. This right here, they're talking about cosmetic changes and upgrades to Dolton Village, the Village Hall, and this seemed to have already been approved. Now, what I've noticed about the meetings, there are things that was approved, and then it's like they bring them back up on the schedule to just get them solidified or something. There's a name to that. So what I have noticed when these things come back up to items, there is some contention. There is some issues about these items. So just to keep this in mind, because this is 2021. In a clip that I went over in 2023, they were still talking about fixing certain areas in the village building, and still arguing about certain things, still arguing about the release of money, who was going to get paid, and things like that. So what I will say on this particular situation, if you don't know, highlighting anything over $5,000, even if it's approved within a budget, they're supposed to bring it back to the board, show the board what they're spending, and like give them a choice of his vendor. So we will keep that in mind. But I think when Tiffany gets the ball rolling, she just keep on going.
Moving on. Item number 6, discussion and action regarding replacement of lights at certain locations. So one big thing that I love about Stacy, who's currently now superintendent here in Dalton, he came and hit the ground running. So our lights was out on Sibley, and literally, like I said, last board meeting, he got them turned right on. There are some poles that are missing due to an accident or whatever reason the pole is down. So there are exposed wires, and right now the wires is capped off. I do not want anyone to get electrocuted, hurt, injured, or any kid to play with him. So I was asking the board to approve the 2 lights poles to go up in them certain areas. And not only that, the business district has been complaining about it's been dark. So if we can help them, by all means, let's do that. And I'm gonna give the floor to Stacy, Superintendent Stacy, to add on to this. Go ahead.
Now, I'm going to leave this clip where it's at. You can go back into May 17th, 2021, and actually look at this full clip. Some of the things that they brought up was just making sure that they had the money on hand to do some of these activities. And some of them was to resurface the parking lot and repave. And in 2023, they were still talking about this repavement of the parking lot. So it just shows me how not progressive things has been in Dalton, and I really feel bad for you. So at this time in this board meeting, that it seems like Tiffany Henyard said something about still seeking more money for the fireworks. because she mentioned that other people were going to play a part in it, other people in the town, other businesses, and more money was supposed to be coming. And then you're going to see some contention start to build up. Now, I'm going to be honest. Miss Kiana Belcher from the RIP, her emotions shows through her face a lot. And I try not to hone in on it, but it's hard for me to ignore. If I had a coworker that was like Miss Kiana Belcher, I would pull her to the side like, baby, relax your face. You're showing everybody everything on your face. Anything that she don't agree with or anything that she wants to come at, you can see it in her facial gestures before it start. Okay, I don't want to offend you guys, but I'm being honest. So I was gonna make a 1,000 Kiana faces, but I wasn't gonna disrespect her like that. I didn't want y'all to feel no type of way, but I'm gonna be bringing that up a lot because it's showing contentment. And at the end of the day, when I'm at work, if I have contentment or I feel a way towards these people who are treating me bad and I get treated bad, especially by the others and Karens, I'm not going to give them the face. I'm not going to let them see how they make me feel. What I'm going to do is treat them with professionalism, kindness, and show them how out of pocket they are. So I'm just kind of giving you some pointers because I don't want to just keep, because y'all going to hear me because I'm going to try to ignore it, but I can't because my baby girl, her faces is killing me. Now, what we're going to do now is we're going to get into our actual broadcast. What I have done is take clips from the month of, as I told y'all, I believe July 2021, all the way until September. And this is going to be giving us a better idea of some of the things that were occurring around that time frame and how things were building up in Dolton. So if the residents don't remember, you're going to remember what was happening and why it was happening and how people were reacting. And that's what we're going to do here. No bias, no nothing. I will give it to you guys. I'm going to give you a heads up. Miss Norwood, she held her face a lot. I'm going to give it to her. Y'all didn't notice that, but Miss Norwood, she held her face and her professionalism so much. I'm going to just give it to her. So let's get this going. And one of the first things that we're going to address in July 2026 meeting 2021, the Finance Committee meeting, they kind of talk a little bit about the budget. They talk a little bit about property tax increasing, income coming in from that. And as I told you, there were some back taxes that was due. So actually in 2021, the budget is up there. I have the budget. The budget is on the Dolton website. But after 2021, there is no more budget summary. And when you look at the budget in 2021, it looks like they did quite about the same as what was happening the year before. I don't know if the numbers are fudged. I kind of took like a 30-minute look at it, but I'm going to print the 44-page document out. I'm not a financial expert, but I know assets versus liabilities. I know defects versus what you got. So I'm going to go through it and see if I see anything funny. But honestly, it is a problem because on the website, we're going to show you so much stuff has changed and you can see transparency has changed. All right. So let's get this video playing. Did I highlight everything? Talked about the motions for the budget. They talked about grant writers. Okay, let's get it. It's a few things that they should have just been handling instead of arguing. Let's go.
What?
So this is Chris, the budget director, the budget person, the person who handled finance. Now I have to look at more recent videos, but I didn't see
individual salaries. Why is that example?
Okay, I didn't see Chris a lot. So they starting off this broadcast with the people of Dalton asking some questions. This is where I started it at. So this person asks, are we going to really get a clear answer about the budget? Why are salaries combined on item lines? Explain police chief line item saying 270,000. Village Amend saying 200,000. So at this time, there was questions being answered, and Tiffany Henyard didn't have the chat block. Okay. If y'all part of the Village of Dalton, I've been watching. She was getting it in. And this is the time before she tried to block the chat. And the people of the Village of Dalton was attending these online meetings, and they were asking questions for the most part.
How much does the chief make? How much does each deputy chief make?
Chris.
So 1 second. The chief makes 100,000. One of the deputy chiefs makes 80,000, and the other deputy chief makes 86,559. The reason why there are two deputy chiefs is because one is out on medical purposes. So until that situation gets resolved, we have those as two deputy chiefs on staff.
I wondered.
That answer the question that was just asked without it being asked.
I wonder if that's when Chief Lacey came in as a deputy chief, because you know he's not like a official chief. You know that, right? Right.
All right. Any more questions there?
Now bear with me. I'm going through clips for y'all. Moving things along.
Okay. Just for the record, guys, you have to put a motion and a second on the floor to open up discussion, and you can amend or reject. So can someone second this motion to pass the budget?
I have an amended motion for budget.
All right, so this part right here moves on to them asking about the budget. This is the next budget coming in, okay? And they received an amended budget. Now, this is their response. This is 2021. Now, mind you, the last time that they got to see anything in real time was around this time.
Okay.
So I have a motion that ordinance number 21-004 be approved with the amendments of line 1-12-422 being reduced 55,000 for the grant writer and transferred to 112-549 to put it as a contract. Second amendment will be reducing line 112-424 from 70,000 to 35,000. Third amendment, reducing line.
Wait a minute, trustee, so you made it 70K first, okay, what's that for?
70 to 35K for a reduction.
Of what?
And if I may, I will complete the motion and then put in discussion.
Hold on, trustee, Madam Chair.
Look, stop. We're going to hear what they're saying. Look at Miss Trustee Kiana Belcher face. I'm sorry. I'm not going to say sorry. Miss Belcher, this is what I'm talking about. The contentionism that's going. Y'all cannot say that it was totally Miss Henyard, because I'm watching Henyard and some of the things that she's pushing for. And that's why I'm trying to like her, because some of the things make sense, but then she goes to the left. So that's when I call her out. But we're going to have to show what's going on. So when I say that I felt like something was boiling between Kiana and Henyard, it has started from the beginning. Grace Levi is not lying. Do you see the face? That I'm going to put face number 1. I'm not going to take the pictures, but y'all going to note it. At least I'm going to say face number 1. And as we go through this series, it's going to keep going, because we're going to have to mind how we represent ourselves. We're not perfect. But when we're in positions like this, I don't be at work like that. Get her. The get her face. Okay? And everybody can see this.
Does the first movement withdraw his motion and allow Trustee House to make a motion with certain amendments? Because that's a proper parliamentary procedure. There's now 2 motions with 0 seconds out of them. So if the first movement wants to withdraw his motion, then Trustee House can make a motion to approve the appropriation ordinance as amended, subject to the following amendments. Get the second and then list the amendments.
Right, so basically, as I say, they have to make a motion in a second, and then talk about discussion to basically amend how.
You're correct.
Okay, so
Correct.
that's what
You're correct. So either.
I just said.
Right.
Okay, so is there a motion and second to approve the budget, and then you can make your amendments, is what I was stating in the beginning. So is there a first and second? I know that Trustee Holmes motioned it, and is there a second? And then you can make your adjustments, Trustee House.
So let me, just for clarity, So I thought the motion would come, if there were amendments to be made, amendments would be included with the motion.
You could do it one of two ways. The mayor's absolutely 100% correct. So you can make the second and then ask for a motion to amend it with the listings. Or trustee Holmes could withdraw his motion. You could make a motion as amended. The simpler way to do it is the way the mayor said it. Is you make the motion, you get the second, you can second it, trustee, and then you can ask for a friendly amendment or a motion to amend with those changes. But now that there's a motion on the floor, you have to be second, or when you tried motion to go forward, that doesn't work on a Robert's rule. So what you could do is second it and then ask for a motion to amend it as follows. So then you just go through the changes you want to make. That's how I would. But you're wrong.
Okay, so right here, I know y'all got a little bit confused. What that's telling me is that people don't understand the total protocol. I'm not totally an expert in this, but what it seems like is that they may have to go over one amendment at a time, whatever that he wants to contest, and then give a reason behind it. And then they make a formal vote. That's what it sounds like, but it wasn't being presented that way. So it looked like Mr. House was a little confused because he was about to just say, I want to amend this, and the third. Okay. Now y'all have to, verify that or correct me if I'm wrong. But from what I've been learning and watching about the board meetings, they try to have one thing at a time. So if you're trying to pull 3 things off the list or 1 thing or 2 things off the list, it's going to probably be 2 or 3 different motions because each thing is separate. And you may, and when you're in front of people, allegedly, she's saying from what she keeps repeating, when you're in front of the board and you're doing this meeting in front of the public, you have to explain your vote and why you're doing things. So that's why. So what I will say is if you're in a hostile work environment, you need to know your shit. You need to go by the evidence base, have it run down of how things are applied. I know what's happening here is that some of the things that they get, like the things that's going to be on the agenda, allegedly, sometimes they get it just before the meeting and they're not able to really go in detail about what it is and how to contest it. But what I will say, if you have a structure and you understand, like, okay, to move this motion, I have to do this, and the third. It don't matter what the motion is. I'm going to stick to that guideline. So there is some mistakes going on here on the trustees' part because of the contention. Okay. And they've been trustees together. So I don't understand why is all of this going on.
Okay.
Look at my baby girl. Look at my baby girl face.
So if
Look.
no one's going to second his motion, it will die. Then you can go ahead and make your own motion. So
Can we ask, thank you, sorry, thank you.
Go ahead.
Yeah, can we ask that no one will second the first motion that was made? Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, nobody's answered. So yeah, the motion is not perfected. So now we can go on to a second motion. Trustee House, if you want to make your motion now, then the form you're running to would be the appropriate time.
So Tiffany Henyard motion was not second. And that's what she was trying to say. First, let what I say, you don't want to second it. Okay. But then House came right out and said something like, okay, this is how I feel. Do you see what I'm saying, y'all? Do you see? If you're watching these board meetings, this is how it's supposed to go. So this is where she's trying to say, she come out later on and like, let me school y'all. Let me show you how it's supposed to be done, because there's little mistakes like this going on.
Okay. So is this time to make a motion?
As I said, this would be the appropriate time.
Okay.
Oh,
motion
my
for the
house.
approval of ordinance number 21-004 with the following amendments. Line 1-12-422, reduced by $55,000 for the grant writer, transferring that to line 1-12-549, putting that as a contracted service. Line 1-12-424, reducing from $70,000 to $35,000. Line 1-12-423, reduced from $95,000 to $47,500, reducing the number of representatives from 4 to 2. And line 1-12-563, reducing from $30,000 in trainings to $10,000 in training.
Okay. Y'all are educated. Okay, got it.
Here she go.
Is there a second for Trustee House's motion?
I'll second it.
Okay, so there's a motion in second. So now we're gonna open the floor for any discussion. So Trustee House, can you break down each item that you are adjusting? What it is?
The first line item was $55,000 for the grant writer, transferring that from employee to a contract service. The second line item is the youth services, reducing from $70,000 to $35,000. Fourth item is the customer service reps, the part-time customer service reps, reducing it from 4 to 2. And the fourth item is reducing the trainings from $30,000 to $10,000. The overall summary of requested reductions is cost savings to the village.
Now, what I will say here, I don't really understand why they are contesting all of these. I'm going to be honest. The budget for these particular items, they wasn't big ticket items. And I assume that they were needed, and they're going to go through each item. I'm going to be honest. But I'm going to let y'all make y'all determination of what y'all need. So whatever you feel, just put in the comments. Let's see.
Okay. So each trustee, I will hear from you as it relates to what Trustee House is proposing. And then the grant writer, what's the ending amount? Was it 35? Is that what I heard?
The grant writer is being transferred from one line to another with the same amount.
Okay, so there is going to be a contract.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so let's start with Trustee Norwood about the items that Trustee House has proposed.
So I'm in regards to the line items that we removed, my main concern was the amount of spending. So that's how I went about making changes. I wanted to be more conservative in terms of the spending. So I did hear Trustee House, our finance guys state that this budget is spending more in this year than we spent in the last 8 years. So I took that into consideration. I looked over the budget. I understand that we need police officers. So of course we didn't want to touch that. I understand that we need firefighters. Didn't want to touch that. I understand that we need public works. Didn't want to touch that. The grant writer, I feel that the grant writer should be on contract. As I explained to you before, I think that with a position like that, I'm more comfortable knowing that they're actually doing their job and bringing revenue. So I feel as if we have them on contract. I think I said to you before, if we do that, then it come across us that they're making money for the village and they're bringing in the funds as they should. And I say that we can continue their services. So that's why I decided to move that to contract. The youth services, I say that as the head of the youth committee, I'm with funding the youth committee, but I want to see where it goes. So I figured, hey, let's start with 35,000. Let's see what we can do with that, and if we need more, we can always amend it. I think as you said to me before, in regards to the customer service rep, I understand we've always been leery, so I'm for adding another customer service rep. And in regards to training, I understand that we need training, so I've done the math, and with the 10,000 that we have, we can still complete the trainings necessary. And if we need more money there, I figured that we can always, like you said to me before, add to that. But my main concern was the overall spending. So when I looked at the budget, how I made my decision again, is I looked over things and decided what we could prioritize at a later point, or things that we can always make changes to at a later time once we bring in more money or those projections are and actually receive some of the money.
All right, I'm going to start right here. I agree with a lot of what Ms. Norwood was saying, especially having a grant writer contract so they can show improve and let that be a disposable position. What I'm a little bit, it was towards the end she was talking about. Hold on one second. It just slipped my mind what I was a little bit leery of. Hold on one second.
The youth services, I say that as the head of the youth committee, I'm with funding the youth committee, but I want to see where it goes. So I figured, hey, let's start with 35,000. Let's see what we can do with that. And if we need more, we can always amend it. I think as you said to me before.
Oh, what I was leery about was when she said lowering $30,000 for training. Now, I don't know what type of training that is to $10,000. That's not enough for training. I don't know what professional is getting training and how many they can pay for that amount. But I think 30,000 or at least 20 will be a little bit better. I'm going to say that me as a professional, because when I come in, I'm trying to get paid. You see what I'm saying? And yeah, $10,000 could be swiped up in 3 months with the professional. I'm going to be honest. So some of these things should be evaluated from a perspective of knowledge. You know, sometimes you have to know a little bit about HR or the particular department, because training is so vague. And that's what made it hard for these trustees to make decisions. I'm going to be honest. Tiffany did a lot of that.
In regards to the customer service rep, I understand we've always been leery, so I'm for adding another customer service rep. And in regards to training, I understand that we need training. So I've done the math. And with the 10,000 that we have, we can still complete the trainings necessary. And if we need more money there, I figured we can always, like you said to me before, add to that. But my main concern was the overall spending. So when I looked at the budget, how I made my decision again, is I looked over things and decided what we could prioritize at a later point, or things that we can always make changes to at a later time once we bring in more money, or those projections are we've actually received some of the money there in the budget.
Okay, thank you. Trustee Brown? Okay, as Trustee Norwood stated, I felt the same way as in regards to reduction. And again, as far as the clerk, we have always worked on a reduced staff anyway. So we did add to, and if two are needed later on, then we can always add. But since it's the type of thing that we ask for reduction, later on down the line, I'm sure if there is an increase needed, that we can always go back and make those changes to these necessary services that we spoke about today. Again, as she said, fire, police, public works are our number one priority. So again, let's not touch those, but we can make a reduction in these other areas. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Trustee Steves?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yep.
The trustees, we came up with these small amount of reductions or small amount of changes. It's still a heavy administration budget raise up a lot. It's still a decent amount of money that we're spending more than we had in the past. I think it went from 22 million to 24 million, but I think the administration got 98 to 99% of the things that was proposed. So it's our efforts to work with the administration and be conservative, try to be conservative about spending. The town is in a better financial condition than it has been in the past some years now, and that's what conservative spending every year. So I think this is I still a balanced budget with small surplus, and we get some things that we need. I know public works needed, the fire, more police officers, I think 10 police officers. I think this is a balanced budget, and it will help the town to move forward.
Now I'm gonna pause right here because you're gonna have to be consistent. Now y'all gonna take note that this is what Trustee Steve said at this time. He felt like it was a balanced budget. As the time go on, he commends some of the equipment that he got to go into his department, Public Works. So I just want you to highlight that here, okay? He was pretty content at this point with the budget. He did notice that it was a little bit more spending, allegedly because they needed new equipment, building was falling apart. She came doing cosmetic spending and these things, and keep in mind, COVID money was interfusing into this. One more thing that the general public should know, or the people of Dalton, that there's a restricted budget and an unrestricted budget. As I call it, your base and what you got to spend. Your income is not your total base. What you have to spend is not your total base. Your total base is everything you need to keep yourself above water and make sure everybody is paid. So those are some of the things, but the unrestricted funds are some of the funds that I noticed they have issues with, and that's spending. It looked like it was like, what he said, around 22 million to 24 million of the budget. And I'm trying to think in my head, what was the percentage of it? I don't know. It was like 40 something, because I'm trying to remember that 44-page document, but I kind of skimmed it. Once I get into that, I'm going to understand the budget of a town. And hopefully if we could get the actual budget for these next 2 years, we'll be able to kind of go through that as the general public. Like I said, I'm not an expert, but I do like to research, and I do my own damn taxes, baby, for my kids, my business, and everything. I've been doing it for the last 4 years and went back and forth with the IRS. So I feel that I have enough expertise to at least read or review a document and make it make sense. Okay, guys? So that's where I'm coming from. So I just wanted you to highlight this because people pick sides and you stay. Me, I don't judge people, but I just treat people the way they are. You know, you are who you are, and we're gonna deal with each other on that particular level. But I'm not gonna expect more or less from you, and I'm not gonna put you on a pedestal just because. And I will hope that you guys have that same type of discernment, because that's the type of mindset we need to have going into this next year, this next type of political environment that we're going into and that we need to create. Okay. All right.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Trustee Belcher. We didn't catch you. Trustee Belcher. Okay, so you have no reasons for why you are you in agreement with what he's proposing?
I am in agreement with what Trustee House is.
Okay, so do you want to get explanation to the residents of why you agree with it?
No, I don't.
All right. Next.
Y'all saw that. Now you tell me, was that okay? Was that acceptable? You let me know. I know she's tired. She got things going on, but this is about a big budget. And just like Miss Brown did, Miss Tammy Brown, and also Miss Norwood did, they broke down their reasons or whatever they were feeling. It's very important, especially if y'all saying that Miss Belcher is the finance person at her business. She should be fronting at them about this. I'm just being honest. So what I'm seeing is feelings is involved, and it's kind of clouding. It's clouding shit. Excuse my language. It's clouding. We can't do this. We can't do this.
Trustee House.
Yes, ma'am. Sorry.
Okay, so that's the I just went through every trustee to go off of your reason for cutting.
Trustee House.
Trustee Belcher, you out of order. I have the floor. So just give me a second. Trustee House, as I was stating, the items that you're proposing, I was just asking each trustee their reason for why they want to cut. So you can give me your reasons for why you want to cut the items.
I'm sorry. My original statement was overall was cost savings to the village.
So that's why you want to reduce each item?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Trustee Holmes?
Good morning.
Let me tell y'all this. I'm going to just tell y'all this. Y'all going to notice throughout our series of Dalton Chronicles, Andrew Holmes always have a problem with his phone or his internet. You know why? Spiritually, I think he a demon, and I'm gonna just shut up. Every time he cut on his mic is an echo, is an issue, something messing up. She's not of human essence, allegedly. Let's keep it playing. That was Grace Levi. That wasn't the professional one.
First and foremost,
Lord, cut the mic off.
Keeping us full service of public work, police, and fire. We must maintain that at all costs. But I'm against cutting service, especially with our youth. We need to fund our youth and help them enhance quality of life. And we do need a full-time grant writer to bring in these funds. And if we find it so that the income is not coming in, then we can adjust it from there. But we need a full-time grant writer. Customer service, we need full-time customer service here too. You know, if we're going to enhance quality of life and help this village, we have to take that risk to do what we have to do to get updated. Training, same thing with training. We have to have ongoing training. You know, safety is our priority, but, you know, I'm against cutting. You know, we have to work to do what we have to do. Thank you.
No comment.
Okay. So everyone has spoken. I'm going to give you guys my reason for why we need what we need. I spoke to almost every trustee that's related to the budget. We had a budget meeting last Monday, and if anybody want to cut, adjust, you're kind of being out the day passing. That way everybody would have been on one accord, and we could have got through whatever the disagreements are for cutting the budget items. Grant writer, as I said always before, we need a full-time grant writer. We need someone to go get the money like how we've been doing before. Did you guys know that we didn't have a sound number or dunce number? And since 2013, we have not been writing federal grants.
Wow.
Now, we do the fill in the blank grants. That's okay, but right now we're trying to get different money, infrastructure money, different things of that nature. And as it relates to youth, I'm big on youth. I grew up here in Dalton. I don't think that's right that you guys will cut the budget to hire kids when you know carjackings are happening and your kids are doing all crimes that's related to Dalton, whether it's shootings, drive-by stuff, all kinds of stuff I can go on and on. So I'm saying that we have to figure out a way to employ the youth and make sure that they have a outlet. As relates to getting grant cut, y'all know that I have used my resources as relates to the township to get grant cut. That's a program that I want to initiate here at Village of Housing to have the youth cut grass, do the weeds, and also do the snow. Customer service reps.
We are in need of help to answer phones. If anybody that's watching this, pay attention to the phone lines. We do not answer the phones here because we are overbooked with complaints. So sometimes they come to Larry, they bounce to everybody's department. The clerk's department, Stacy's department over there at Public Works, so they can't really fully do their job because they're constantly on the phone taking care of that. Training. I that shocked me for you guys don't want training to be educated as being a new elected official. Everyone needs to go to training because obviously everybody don't know their title, their position here, and what it entails as relates to being a trustee who legislates, the mayor governs, and the clerk. So I think everybody needs to engage in more training. There is a motion and there is a second on the floor. I'm okay with whatever the board of trustees have decided, and I will always govern the town and do what's best for the residents. Services was put in by myself for public works, for public speaking, which is firemen, and also the police. You know that there is a spike in crime in Dalton, and we do need more officers. We need to make sure we patrol our beats and ensure the community feels safe with what the board has decided. And also making sure that they have the services, which now I feel they have due to myself putting them in the budget. I am ready to make a vote, and Clerk Q, you can call the room.
May I be recognized?
Well, it's not, we want to run our discussion. That's why I let everybody talk, have the floor, say how they felt, and I want her to call the roll, so now that the residents can be heard. You guys made the decision.
Just one thing I want to clear up that was misstated.
Okay, let me call the roll first, then on the citizen's address you can speak, because I don't want to make it a back and forth. I let everybody speak, and I said my piece, and we want to go forward. So, trustee, hold on one second.
Yeah, be recognized, make a statement.
You see belt your face? Y'all watching it? She can't hold it. She need to press mute on the page. Now, what I will say while this is happening, is some of the things that Tiffany Henyard did just address. I have to say I agree with her. And people may not like it. Y'all hear what I say about Miss Tahoe Tiffany, the Wicked Witch of the West. But I have to have discernment about this particular conversation. Coming out of COVID, you had a lot of kids that had nothing to do. Coming out of being in the house, not school, because they didn't learn anything. And then coming out to not having much activities. Now we got a clarification as far as where the $30,000 was going to go through. It's going to go through educations for, I guess, new elected officials, trustees. And this is very important. You see what I'm saying? Me coming in as a new person in my profession, I want you to pay for them 5 days. If I got to be there 5 days for 8 hours and I got to learn, I got to do that. They feed me. I learn all this stuff. I'll be tired, cramped, whatever going on, but I'm ready to take on the task for this particular facility. So that the youth and not having someone who is going to take on the task of taking in phone calls and only having them part-time, that does cause strain on other departments. So in this particular aspect right here, the things that were being taken off, I really don't understand why. They seem a little nitpicky to me, but I still am watching just like you guys. And as it is the trustee job to monitor where the money is spending and to be frugal, we do need to make sure that we have a productive, thriving village. Do you understand? So it has to be a base of services. It has to be just like, for instance, when I was talking about the YSL in Fulton County and them literally pulling the gang unit or the preventative youth program for gangs. This was something that was needed. Funds should go there. If it's a need, it should be addressed. So I had to give it to Ms. Henyard in this one. It seemed a little bit like the pettiness was kicking in fast. And I will say I would think it's because Ms. Henyard is young and she's coming in like a freight train, which could disembody older people, make them feel away. And I want you guys to know I'm not a Henyard friend because I'm like, is she a op? No, I'm a human being. I'm a real person. So I deal with these difficult situations. And when I'm coming in young and knowledgeable, coming in like, you do this, evidence-based, they be like, who the fuck she thinks she is? I get that a lot. So I know that I have to curb my enthusiasm, come in, learn who the players are, and then move accordingly. But in this particular situation, she's the man, so it's a little bit different. Does that make sense? That's what I'm sensing from this. I'm gonna play about another 5 minutes, then I'm gonna look at some of your comments, and then we're gonna get to, I guess, August 2nd meeting, 2012. My baby face, she can't even help it.
All right, we just made a contract for the same amount, so it's not part. Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
The statement was made about part-time grant writer. We just made a contract for the same amount, so it's not part-time. It's the same amount of payment. It's just a contract. That's it. Because we all understand and realize the need for a grant writer. We just wanted to put it on the contract. That's it.
Okay. Well, I'm okay with whatever you guys decide to do, believe it or not. And I'm gonna do whatever I need to do to make sure everything's okay. So I just thought that you guys said that $85,000 of a $24 million budget is being conservative. That just is not how we the other. It's like it's $85,000 you took out of the budget for small items compared to things that's really needed to fix what we already know. So I'm just gonna move forward. Anybody else want to make a statement before I conclude this?
I'd like to recognize that.
Okay, go ahead, Trustee.
Yeah, something I'm going to say is we done had a lot of youth that have been cutting grass and working in the village, volunteering time free. So I'm encouraging any and everybody, we don't need to cut our youth out. We need to pay attention to them and help them and enhance quality of life.
I agree with you, Andrew. Oh, Buckethead. Sorry, y'all.
Okay, go ahead. I have a question because it sounds as if, when you're saying cut the youth. I mean, I think that it was you that explained to me that at any given time, we can always add money to the budget. Meaning, if we reduce it at this point to take down the spending as of now, due to the fact that a lot of these numbers are projections, then we can always go back and make changes. So, for instance, to be limited to 35,000, it does not totally mean that if the youth program, and I'm asking for him to be clear, it doesn't mean that if we need more money, we can't go back to the board and ask for some at a later time, correct?
Yeah, you can always project the budget. But my thing is, we need that now. So why would you guys cut that? That's not gonna hurt us at all. When I created the budget was at a surplus of $13,000 overage, and everything was included that everybody wanted. We even gave clerk full-time clerk with benefits. So everybody got what they wanted. So for the cut little things such as, which is big to me, the youth, when we need to create things to give them stuff to do, I just didn't think that was right. I think we should definitely leave that there. And we should go back and amend that due to the fact that we're still cutting high grass, due to the fact that whether it's on the shelf, and you can still keep them employed here in the village of Dalton, as relates to leaves, to remove the leaves, and then also a snow removal service. So either way, I'm going to create it just so that we have that here in the village of Dalton. I was just hoping that the board was with me when I'm making sure the youth was currently working and constantly working throughout the season. So that was my thing.
Mayor?
Yes.
Mayor, I do want to add one note.
Oh, great.
No, this is Chris.
Okay, please.
I do want to add one note. If at a later date the board does decide to raise the budget, the board can only raise the budget up to what is currently thing. They can change budget lines, but they cannot raise the overall budget for each fund without going through the same process they're going through now. So if down the line they do want to raise the budget for the youth, they would have to equally offset something on a different line item or redo this entire budget process with public hearing and everything.
Mayor, may I say one thing? Just for the record, you said clerk, and I just want to clarify that it's deputy clerk position, just for the record.
Yeah, it is. It's deputy clerk for full-time for Clerk Allison Key. So, okay, moving on. So, Clerk Key, can you call the roll?
Sure. Trustee Holmes?
Aye.
Trustee Norwood?
Aye.
Trustee Steve?
Aye.
Trustee Belcher? Trustee House?
Aye.
And Trustee Brown?
Aye.
The amended budget passed.
So,
all right, thank you so much. Next we have.
So we have the amended budget that passed, okay, which was only an offset of $85,000. That's why I felt like that was just a little bit petty. As we go on, we're going to watch a little bit more. And I'm not going to say that I know everything, but I can tell when people are confused, okay? And I'm going to show some faces, and I really think that people should make decisions not on their emotions, and especially when they're not confused. So we're going to go into the August 2nd broadcast. We're making our way downtown, okay? Thank you for being here with Grace Levi. This is going to be the review of the Dalton's Chronicles. This is going to be like a soap opera for people who just don't know what happened, want to have like a flashback, and we're going to kind of condense months of meetings so you could kind of get an idea on who said what when they switched up, and how it happened. I'm just going to be honest, okay? So let's get to this August 2nd, 2021 meeting here. And this is where we're going to get back to the 4th of July budget, okay? And some of the things that Tiffany promised will happen with this budget, and which made Miss Belcher look like this. Do y'all see her face? Is that face number 3? I'm going to put face number 3. I'm not taking these. I'm not going to take them separate and put them places like I wanted to. Just put them in one long video. But this face number 3, you can't hide it, Belcher. Coming in hot.
And then the warrant list register, which is corporate.
I'm going to be honest. Y'all may not like this. I would get to know Miss Belcher. I would want to. But if I had a coworker who's always making funkadelic faces like this and tune up, I wouldn't talk to her too much. I wouldn't, because especially in hostile environments like this, I'm just going to be honest. I will fall back and have to watch the person because it looked like they're a troublemaker. That's me. That's Lashley. I'm going to keep it real. I'm talking like Nurse Lashley. I will fall back like, yo, what's up with this lady? Like, you could be smart, you could be intelligent, but we playing chess here. And once you start being aligned with you're in it. You see, that's why I like to be by myself. But I'm just being honest. What would you do if you were at work in a work environment and you had this type of stuff happening? I'm just being honest. And I'm not picking on Miss Belcher, but Miss Belcher, you're standing out like a sore thumb. And the contentiousness is just heightened. And I think that's some of the things that the residents see, and which made this like, let's watch this. It's drama. Look at this. This was some of the things.
Payments register 192. Payments of $661,784.71. Manual checks $565 even. Gross payroll June 4th, 2021, $389,422.01. Gross payroll for June 18th, $359,412.43. Manual checks issued $58,774.64. Melody Fitness Center register 192, $6,741.71. Gross payroll for Melanie's on June 4th, $927.11. Gross payroll June 18th, Melanie Fitness Center, $927.11. Total payments, total corporate payments for register 192 is $1,478,554.72.
Now, I will say this. This is the budget they're going over to see what items they're going to get paid to play, and they're going to go over these manual checks. Right now, you're going to hear about, what is it that Mandy's Entertainment Center?
Steve.
Hold on.
Trustee Belcher.
Gross payroll June 4th, 2021, $389,422.01. Gross payroll for June 18th, $359,412.43. Manual checks issued $58,774.64. Melanie Fitness Center register 192.
Okay. Melanie's Fitness Center. Just notice that Dalton, wherever that's at, that's not making money for you. Even up to 2023. That Mandy's Physical Fitness Center that they still trying to make work, they need to scrap it and possibly put a kids YMCA or something there. I'm just being honest, because even up to 2023, I'm hearing about this fitness center literally only making $2,000. When you see in the budget for like revenue that came in for 2021, barely anything. So these are wasted projects. People need to be paid out there, and I was listening to that. So y'all in Dalton, yeah, go to those meetings, talk about Melanie's Fitness Center, and see can y'all do something way better than that. Y'all can turn it into a boys and girls club. Y'all can sell it to a shelter or something. But I just kept hearing about that fitness center, and I said, well, they ain't living healthy. They may need to get rid of that because it's a liability at this point. Now let's keep it going. We're going to get into some of the manual checks and some of the vendors that are not being paid, and also what is an update on the 4th of July event that Tiffany wanted to have that was allegedly approved for only $5,000 from the board.
$6,741.71. Gross payroll for Melanie on June 4th, $927.11. Gross payroll June 18th, Melanie Fitness Center, $927.11. Total payments, total corporate payments for Register 192 is $1,478,554.72. Those were the bills for previous months that were approved electronically.
All right.
Okay. Next up, we have the electronic payments list for this month, which is payment register 193, corporate payments of $17,585.55. Water fund register 193, payments $279,936 even. 2009 bond payment $132,500. 2009 Series B payment is $159,667.50. 2009 C bond payments of $115,400. Homeward disposal bonds for register 193 is $14,000. Total payments on register 193 is $719,089.05. And last but not least, the corporate payments on our warrant list, which is payment register 194, corporate payment of $1,465,704.36. Manual checks issued $120,798.82. Gross payroll July 2nd, $354,820.73. Gross payroll July 16th, $367,416.47. Gross payroll July 30th, $404,028.51. Manual checks, $889.30. Melanie Fitness Center register payments on 194 is $5,195.14. Gross payroll for Melanie Fitness on July 2nd, $927.11. Gross payroll July 16th, $945.11. Gross payroll July 30th, $945.11. So total payments for register 194 is $3,127,533.58. I would ask for a motion to pay the bills.
All right, is there a motion to pay the bill?
Is this all together, or is this for warrant list for August 2nd, 2021?
Now, this is where you're going to see them start to dissect some of the things that he called out on the warrant list, okay? Now, there's a small bill. There's a bill that's going to highlight Tiffany Henyard spending that Belcher's going to call out.
Right, that's for the current one.
That's for register 193 and 194, the current warrant list.
Okay, so then I have a question.
Before we can do discussion.
Okay, I'm just making sure it's 193 and 94. Okay, I make a motion that we approve the current corporate bill, amending and removing item line number 01-14549, Marvelous Media, removing 01125992, Mad Bombers Fireworks, removing 01125992, Barricade, removing 01125992, Fireworks sign.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, who was that? The second. Who was it?
C.
That's C. Okay.
And all of the things that she highlighted had to do with the 4th of July event.
So hold on 1 second. You guys want to not pay fees throughout today's time to work? Is there a reason for why you removing the item? Trustee Belcher, you can go to each one and tell us why you're removing.
Okay, so this is our issue, which has come across the board several times now. When you first asked for fireworks, you asked for $5,000 for the fireworks show. We spent $3,000 in June for those paid to Mary Bombers. I requested a copy of donations before anybody said we got donations. We got a $2,000 donation from the Thornton Township, and then $1,000, which I don't know if that was actually for the fireworks from 525 Concrete.
but you went over the $5,000 and spent an additional $3,000. Total bills right now for special events that you spent is $30,000 in 3 months. The spending for these events has become ridiculous. So I feel as a resident that this show, which was a nice show, but of course it did not come in consent with all the additional spending that you made the decision to spend. So I'm asking to remove those items until we can do something about your spending.
All right. So what we're gonna do right here is highlight. I'm gonna let her talk. I'm gonna let her finish talk.
Okay, so let's talk about what you just said. As it relates to anything on this agenda, I always encourage each trustee, y'all know my phone number, you can call and ask questions about anything you have a problem with on this agenda. You guys do not. The people, meaning the residents, who proud of this show here, they asked us to talk about all this behind closed doors before we get here. But here we are. If y'all would ask me what the issues are or what's the problem as related to Mayor Bummer, I would have told you. I didn't know I was saying anything. That's exactly what the board asked of me. Now, we are the people on the contract as it relates to Mayor Bummer. We have to pay them the money to get our money back from the other party that say they can't the other $500. Other than that, I'm not over the budget. I think exactly what you guys approved for me. But on here now, today, that you see, for the money that's owed to them, and then we have to get our business back from the other vendor that paid, they was paying us for the put on the show. That's number one. Number two, you said something about media. I don't understand why you want to pay the media and AXPs know more than anybody how much somebody could cost. I've talked to them several times about paying what is this real now? I call it shoot, but paying on our bill for his service. The guy comes out, he does a service. He sits here, he films everybody, he includes everybody, and I don't understand why we're not paying him. It's been over a month since he has got paid. He did this service, but we did this on month 2. When you saying we still gotta pay him what he owed to me. And then the only 2 I got was the third one that you paid.
It was 4 to be exact.
The one that I didn't get.
The barricade that you used for blocking off the streets and the fireworks.
The barricades.
Yes, it was barricade saying 0112592 under special event. The barricade cost $4,711.
What's that block? Okay. For the barricade for blocking off the street. Okay. Well, I wouldn't know how much that really means. I didn't order it. Okay. And what else?
And then the fireworks fine.
So the fireworks fine, why would I not order fireworks fine? Even though I don't order stuff, the staff orders the stuff, so I couldn't even tell you that the price of what you're saying costs.
Mayor, that makes it even more uncertain that you don't know the prices of the stuff that you're spending.
I did not know.
But it makes me more uncomfortable with the spending. So that's what I spoke to a couple of my colleagues, fellow trustees, and that was my concern of things that I had issues with.
I'm gonna stop right here because there's some things that I want to address, and I'm gonna be honest. Now, as a board member, when you bring up an item, you got to stick to that item. So if you're bringing up the item right now about basically that is a bill that's not being paid because you already spent the limit, then you should show that and focus in on it. Where Ms. Belcher lost me is because she started talking about $30,000 in activity spending. Now, I'm not saying Ms. Henyard was supposed to be spending whatever she's spending in activities, but what makes them lose their position in the corporate world, because I know how Esau do it. If you don't focus in and do right, you're lost. Okay? Because they were like, that's not what we're talking about, Leslie. You know, you just can't, you know, I mean, let's just stay focused. That didn't happen to me, but I'm just trying to tell you. So if Ms. Belcher would have said, hey, we paid $3,000 out last month. You said that we were supposed to get donations in. They already committed that $3,000 came in, okay, from 2 donations that we already wrote. So not only should it be $2,000 left from the $5,000 that y'all committed, it should be $3,000 that's in, which is $5,000. Now, the barricades, when it comes to the barricades, the fireworks signs, and Miss Henyard not knowing how much they cost, because she literally just gave somebody say, you got $30,000 to spend, huh? Not telling them the technicalities of it, to say, hey, at this particular time, we have a $5,000 budget. From this time to this time, you only could spend $5,000 to get as much done set up until the rest of this money come in. That's how a real event planner will plan it, especially if you're dealing with a budget. I know, okay? So when the next monies come in, like the $3,000, which you'll hope in the next 5 to 15 days, you will add that to the kitty. and then you would tell the person who's executing the program to say you got $3,000 more, whatever else you need to buy. What else do we need? And have that person be in contact in a timely manner to everybody who's donating. Because $5,000 is only about six entities that you should be getting $5,000 from if it was $30,000 budget. So I can see where the discrepancy come in at, as far as the way Ms. Belcher presented it, giving Ms. Henyard to say, hey, blah, 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 get out of here. You're not even focused. You know what I'm saying? Get out of here. You're not even focused. This is what I did. This is what I did. This was going on. So if Ms. Belcher would have stayed focused, she would have been able to trip up Henyard with her not allocating the funding properly, knowing that she had a restricted budget. Does that make sense? So I'm both sides over here fucking up. Okay? Both. Ms. Henyard is having an event that she don't know the ins and out of, how much it would cost, or even how much to plan the fucking event. Excuse my language. Because if you know you need barricades for $5,000, whoever's providing the barricades, those are the people that you want to donate at least half. Get that split in half. And who is it? The police? Your own police department? So I'm confused. Or the party people? I thought the police department had their own barricades. So anyway, that's how I look at it. Maybe I'm a little off, but you let me know. Because we got professionals here. We got regular people here. But how would you like that handled?
So that's okay. And that's fine. Everybody decided to pull something, amend something, or if you have a problem with it. No, I did not know how much the doggone party work sign cost you. But if you saying that you want to pull them out, so be it. You have to pay the bills regardless. So if y'all want to hold them up and you don't pull them out, go ahead. So anybody else, any other trustee that coexist with what trustees up to say on pull items? Does everybody want to pull items?
I have a question.
Sure.
The location, someone can explain the location finance international for $350,000. What is that?
The who?
Location Finders International, $350,000. Can someone explain what is that? What is that for?
Okay, well, Chris can explain the one that Steve got.
And this right here tells me when people are nitpicking and then they don't know what the money's been spent over the years, because a lot of you guys been there, the trustees, and listen to this. I have to call it out.
Location Finders International, that is your Sibley Woodlawn TIF 2. That is the final installment payment that you guys had on the contract that was issued into with the vendor 20 years back.
It's good to ask questions though.
Yeah, go ahead.
So it's good to ask questions. I'm not throwing my trustees under the bus. These are some of the things that you do need to consider and what they are considering in the background. That some of these back bills are popping up. So in the month, the amount of spending may go from this to that, this to that. This is something that was due over the course of 20 years, and this was a final payment of $350,000. This is not something that will be on the agenda all the time, but still, I think our trustees should know what is it. But it's always good to ask. And I understand why they're a little skeptical to move forward fast on certain spending, because these are the things that come up.
They were mentioning under $5,000 if there's that's going to be donated. Who's donating it? Do they have an idea when it's going to be coming in to offset?
Yeah, that's what I was waiting on. That was supposed to be donated from School Board 148. So that's what I was waiting on. If you guys don't want to pay it, don't pay it. But it was coming in from donations, which I told the board members at the last meeting when we originally did it.
Okay, and the last meeting was like a month ago. So at that point, she should have had monies coming in as far as people who was going to participate in this.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Maybe I'm not even.
Sure, go ahead.
So I just have a question. I just have a question about the one next for Chris real quick, if I can.
Sure, go ahead, Chris.
Hey, Chris, on page 5, what is the Lead Electric Company incorporated?
That's for the poles that go up and light poles.
Okay.
But Chris, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Chris. You know me. Go ahead.
Yeah, those are just the cost of the light poles that the village installs for the various streets when they go down, or that replace or do maintenance on the various light poles of the village.
Okay, great. And then page 6, Chris, what is the screws? What is the $4,064 for screws? Do you know what screws those are?
It was more than one screw. That was for those are like utility, not utility, but for water mains, those type of things. It was for a water related types of screws they install for water mains or whenever they're doing things for water.
Okay. Page 7, I just have the -01-21-552, this $1,626.43. You know what those two are?
That relates to AT&T Mobility, the page above it. Due to the way the system, the report printed out in the system, it cut off the vendor name. So on the previous page, it has the vendor AT&T Mobility. So, and then the date range is just when payments were for.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you.
Okay, any other questions?
Yes, I want to make a statement.
Go ahead.
I just want to say I agree with Trustee Belcher. You know, we have an ordinance that is a $1,500 limit before it has to get board approved. So I know the board is concerned about the spending.
I thought it was 5,000, y'all. It went from 5,000 to 1,500. Y'all correct me. Y'all from Dolton. Miss Trustee Steve, I'm listening.
$30,000 in 3 months is a lot. So we want to kind of get a hold of this and just follow the ordinance that's been passed.
Okay, so for the record, I have not spent over my budget. I've not spent over $30,000. So everybody can say whatever they get.
Look, Miss Belcher about to turn up, y'all. She about to turn up.
Like up here, and when you keep saying that I overspent something that relates to contracts, I have not. I don't sit here and say, okay, spend this, spend that. If you guys have told me that we spend the money for the fireworks, we did exactly that. Now, as it relates to ordering something that staff might have ordered or whatever you're stating now, stuff do come in and we have to pay it. So you guys can ask questions before we get here. That way we can get it resolved and get the right answer. I did not know about the fireworks signs, but of course they're gonna order fireworks signs to put out to community because you have to have it. So I didn't understand why anybody had a problem. And then as it relates to a budget, as long as I'm within my budget, I can spend it on items that I feel necessary for the community. So if I feel I want to buy outreach today, I feel I want to do a food give back, if I feel I want to do whatever type of outreach I can, as long as I'm within my budget.
Okay,
So,
let me just say this. I think it was a misunderstanding, or maybe it's just me. When Tiffany Henyard was okay for this $30,000 budget, because that's what they said, and that they will only give $5,000 of the budget, and the rest she has to find a donation. I guess she thought that, okay, we're going to prepay it, and then the money's come in, we'll put it back in the budget. And I think that's how she was moving. But I think because monies was being spent so fast, as they talked about, the inauguration thing happened, where she OD'd on it, and then you had the 4th of July. And I guess these type of spending is happening. So I'm just trying to figure out where the miscommunication come from and why blatantly is Tiffany like doing, like just moving. But I can see where the misunderstanding come from, because you say somebody have a budget of $30,000 and then say, well, we was only giving you $5,000. Stop right there. You know, if that was brought to her attention to say, you got the $5,000 as your base. You say it's going to cost $30,000, but it's not on us. That budget has nothing to do with us. We will not pre-give you the money. You got to base it on your donations. This is the conversations that the trustees should have with the mayor, clear and concisely. That's just my opinion from what I'm watching, trying to highlight some of the miscommunications here.
I'm not here to go back. I'm here to make sure things happen for community. They've been in the house for 2 years. And I would think, with anything, that the board trustee will be with me on having events outdoors for the community. So that's what I'm at with. Let's call the roll.
Excuse me, Mayor, just so I can be corrected, we're about transparency. I have that document to pull all of 592, which is special events, because in the budget, you allotted $30,000. I received a report today, so I came with receipts, and this is 90 days to the media. You have spent $30,881.80. So I don't want anybody to say, okay, so I need to give it fake numbers unless that means one of the employees give it. Because I asked this because you always see contact with people so we can get the information. And that's what I did before I came here, so I can make sure that I had accurate information.
I wish I could see that. Maybe that's in the budget.
Fine. I don't mind any of you talking to any of the departments. Let's get that clear. But what I will say to you is I know what I spent. And I know I did not spend no $30,000.
You can't spend how much
$30,000 so big.
So if you tell it,
I said that
you didn't know how it was, so you don't know how much.
Trustee, if I just said I don't know how much they spent on a banner outside, I did. I'm not gonna lie about that. I didn't know what they spent $100. They spent $200. It's a banner, it's advertising, 5 blue. So what I'm saying to you is that you ever have a problem with something instead of grandstanding, you could call my phone and say,
I'm not grandstanding. I want to
hold on, trustee. Can I finish? Thank you. So if you have a problem with anything, you can come and talk to me, just like anybody else.
Let's stop right here, and this is where the other dilemma come in. It seems like this is where the blocking started to happen, where Tiffany was like, any questions they have, direct them to me. allegedly. So as the trustees were going to try to get information, which I thought that was on a transparent website at that time, but maybe some of that stuff wasn't totally up to date and they were trying to get it before the meeting. But what I will say where Tiffany Henyard is dead wrong, dead wrong, is to say that people have to contact her directly to get numbers. You're the mayor. Other people's job is that they're supposed to have that information transparent and ready to go, and no one should have to call you. Now, what I will say, if it's questions about, like, for instance, just what she said, she noticed that Henyard spent $30,000. Now, if she can't already, like, she hit the max, okay, in that kitty, why didn't she send a formal email to Henyard then at this point, where it can show that you're going through the chains of commands instead of you getting frustrated totally and saying, hey, I emailed you, this is the email, and I was inquiring about this, that, and the third, not waving the paper like I have it right here. And, that's where you lose me, because I want to hear numbers. I want to hear where the hell somebody spent $30,000 in a couple of months, so you can make it make sense and expose her, at that particular time. If she sent her the email and said, hey, these are all expenditures within that account and I'm confused. This is what we're supposed to give you. This is what's going on. And if she did not answer it, didn't bring it to this agenda. So just by me kind of knowing watching how the board meeting is supposed to go, some of this back and forth was not really supposed to happen.
So we don't have to do this for the public. The public said they were telling me, you bring with me on my ticket. And what did they tell me? Don't do this. What did you say? They want it. I know what I'm saying. Before that, whatever trustee, you are out of order. You do not have to. You don't have to. Thank you. Yes, you are. None of your right order. You are out of order. So now that I have the floor, I would like to move forward with I got y'all now. I just want to take out. They need to work. So let's move forward on the vote. Clerk T, you will call the roll. Thank you.
Sure. Trustee Holmes. Trustee Holmes.
Aye.
Trustee Norwood.
Aye. You out of order.
Trustee Steve.
Aye.
Trustee Belcher.
Aye.
Trustee House.
Aye.
Trustee Brown.
Aye. Okay.
Pass.
Thank you so much. Moving on to old business. So just so you guys know, number 4 under approval.
I will say, when Tiffany Henyard get railroaded by the trustees, she move on quickly. She keep it moving. She like, whatever, moving on. I'm gonna have to give it to her. She got tough ass skin. She got tough skin. She like, it is what it is. We'll just move on, try it again. Maybe that's how I'm not gonna call her kind artist, but maybe kind artists, that's what they is. They like, look, we can't get it this way, we'll get it the next time. Or somebody just with persistence. But I am saying, I am seeing both sides of this. Okay. Hit the like button if you like the commentary, if you like the perspective that I'm giving you. Hopefully we can open a lot of communications between Dalton residents and the general public, because it is literally them against us. And I'm not saying the trustees against the people, but when it comes to the government and the people's belief and needs, is not aligned. So you have to know what's going on. You need to know the system, how to play it, and how to address it, and what roles you can play. Like I said, you don't always have to press a number to be part of it. You can do a whole lot, but if you want to press a button or you want to be part of what's going on, you need to be hip. You need to know what's going on and educate yourself. So that's why we're doing it, because we're trying to get Dalton and hopefully other communities that I highlight on this channel ready for the election, whatever, ready for what they want to do. Because honestly, my goal here is to get people ready for the transition. A lot of things are going to change in these next coming years. And a lot of the systems that has been exposed, as you know, a lot of the bad characters, these systems are going to be destroyed. They're going to be rewritten. They're going to be revamped. Who are going to be the people that revamp it? The bad cannot survive forever. You know what I'm saying? So that's my agenda, is to get people thinking a little different, not being so distracted on the mess. I could give you the mess. I'm going to give it to you just a little bit, but realistically, we're losing. People like Miss Henyard is walking away with millions of dollars, and you guys are in debt. Water bills up the kazoo. The Dalton looking like it's in shambles and don't even know, because y'all actually haven't had a budget in the public sector for 2 years. You see what I'm saying? So what are you going to do about this to prevent it? That's why we're here on Uncensored Enlightenment Talk. So please get us in the algorithm. We're very, very different from many individuals. That's what I'm here for, to educate, uplift, and have you guys take whatever I can share with you and make it your own. Do your own thing with it. You see what I'm saying? You see what Grace Levi is saying. So we're going to do another half an hour because, probably another 20 minutes, because the full amount of context that I got is about an hour and 45 minutes. So I want to at least do half of it tonight, and then we're going to do the part 2, possibly the beginning of next week or at the end of the week. The goal is to have our series once a week going through this. Most likely I want to do it on a Monday morning, Tuesday morning. We're going to do this like the Young and the Restless. So Dalton, the community, could remember what happened and not be confused and mesmerized by the characters, the shenanigans. There's a reason why you're upset. There's a reason why you're calling for her resignation. There's a reason why this one here looking like a demon on the screen, Andrew Holmes. Let me shut up. Let's keep it going, y'all. I appreciate you. Please hit the like button. I told you I was going to get my voice back. It's almost here.
To remove the Class 8 because they did not have anything ready for the board approval. And I want you guys to have everything that you asked for. So I am pulling that until they get the paperwork to give to the board of trustees. And then I'm also pulling block by block program. And I will talk to each trustee this week, go over and make sure we got all of that organized as I see cross. So moving forward with approval of consent items. Number 1, resolution number 21-0110, highway authority agreement between the village of Dalton and Tenzia Inc. Number 2,
we've been working.
Okay, now I move forward. This is still the meeting of August 2nd. My ears ringing. And in this particular clip, they go into changes in the business license. And we kind of highlight when they started honing in on the business license. Okay, this is when Miss Henyard like, hold up, we can make more revenue from this, and I can take more control. Let's listen. She didn't say that here, but I think this was the time it started.
And regarding a couple of businesses that we were.
Thank you very much. No problem. Next on the agenda is discussion and possible action requiring for approval to create an ordinance to amend certain portions of Title 3 of the Village Code in the Village of Dalton, Cook County, Illinois, covering business license. Okay. So I know some of you are aware of even having problems in town as relates to people's business license. I'm gonna let the attorney speak to it. She's been working hand in hand with me, trying to get it under control. So that's why this is for you now. Attorney Shante.
So we've been working also with Director Thigpen regarding a couple of businesses that we were notified or found out that they were operating without a proper license. So it prompted us to go look at the code. And I found some discrepancies with respect to the code, at least the code and version that we have currently, which does not allow for a certain category of licenses. So we're still investigating the amendment to the Title 3 that may be on the books. But as it stands right now, there are certain categories of licenses that we don't have confirmation whether they exist or not. And then we also have a separate situation where businesses are operating without a license at all. So we're looking at, as the Administrator Brown is looking at the licensing issues, this would be one of those issues. So this ordinance, there's one section that basically makes it clear that you have to have a business license. The way that the current code is written, it's broken down into multiple sections, but not one section says flat out, every business operating has to have the proper license. So that is an addition, and then it also addresses event spaces as well.
All right.
Okay. Board of Trustees, do you have any questions? Let me get a motion first. Is there a motion to approve the ordinance to make the amendment?
Now, it was really quiet there because I don't know if people understood what was the reason for this amendment. So let's just listen.
This one, I want to, well, at least I'll take me out on when we get to the discussion. I just wanted a little more time to speak with the attorney to get a better understanding.
Okay, but can I have a motion so we can discuss? So that
Okay, I'll make a motion.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'm second.
All right, thank you. Now discussion? Y'all have questions for?
If House didn't say nothing, nobody else would have said something. In my opinion, did y'all just see that?
Attorney?
Oh, no, I'd rather do it at one. So I'm not prepared to do a vote at this time. I'd rather speak with the attorney between now and our next meeting.
Okay, do anybody else have any concerns or questions as it relates to this work?
This is Trustee Brown. I would like to speak with the attorney as well.
Okay. Anybody else? Okay.
Who was that? Mayor, in regards to, on my behalf, I'll speak with the mayor also, so I can get clarity on it also.
Okay, so if you guys can speak with her this week so we can get this in motion, so we can stop the people that do operate in our town and don't have a business license, you guys need to make a decision on ASAP.
So this right here told me that either they did not read the agenda, the clerk, the trustees, or they did not understand. I'm just being honest. If I was part of the board at this point, I guess maybe because I know kind of a little bit about business license and then how it could affect the little guy, I would have first asked, what are the boundaries? What type of businesses are you looking to restrict to have license? Because are you looking for people who just kind of sell at events to have to get permits and things like that? You know, because they was talking about business spaces, and how would that affect our little guy? You know, we want to promote the little business being able to have spots. So if we're having a big event, would you have each vendor doing that, paying that amount of money? Something like that happened in Jersey, where we used to have a lot of people downtown Newark selling socks, hats, all types of stuff. It just looked like New York, okay? But what happened, the mayor got kind of greedy and was like, no, we want to clean up, make it look good. We want to basically ticket and fine these people who've been out here for like 20 years. We knew the sock guy. It was a sock guy in Newark, and he used to be like, check it out. Yes, since I was a little girl and then got into high school, they done ticket and told them. You know what I'm saying? So those are some of the questions I would have asked on a community basis. But like I said, what I see here is a lack of understanding, or maybe they just didn't pay attention and knew the significance of that. So it was good that they want to speak to the lawyer in the background, but I would hope they had the right questions as far as what residents and what businesses would have been affected, i.e. the liquor license business that hold the liquor license, those type of businesses, you know, because it seems like she honed in on those particular businesses, clubs and event centers. That's where she honed in on. So this is where it started in 2021, where they started paying attention to these businesses and business license. Okay.
So the doctor just sent something to the email, that'd be great. Okay.
So I think we go into service agreements.
Provided for approval of service agreement and payment for the Village of Dalton employee personnel.
Thank you very much, Mayor.
I'm sorry. It's not a service agreement. It's a severance agreement. Okay. Something happened during the transition, and we're going to listen. This is the severance packet agreement.
Agreement, a separation and severance agreement that was discussed in June's board meeting during executive session. So we have to have a formal vote for the agreement and to issue the payment. So I'm asking that I motion that we approve the agreement discussed in executive session.
All right. There's a motion in a second. Any discussion? Okay, so I guess you want to explain to the residents what you're doing or what you are proposing.
Well, my explanation was it's a severance agreement that we already discussed.
Right, we discussed in session, but now it's on the floor. You have to tell people what it is we're doing. So what do we have to
elaborate, please feel free, but that was my explanation.
Okay. So let me explain stuff to anybody over here. When you guys put stuff on the agenda, it's y'all agenda item. Y'all have to elaborate the public, the residents, to tell them why y'all keep it, why are we pushing this agenda. You guys can't be afraid to tell people what it is you're trying to do.
Look at his eyes.
I can say what it is you're doing, but it be my opinion. So then we go back and forth. So I give you the floor to speak and say, this is why I need, this is what I think is best for them. But no one seems to want to tell people why you guys are voting the way you're voting.
Look at Miss Norwood's face. I'm talking about, and right here, Tammy, clerk, like whatever. And Andrew just got that devil face just looking. And right here, he's like, I'm trying to figure out what's going on, Holmes. I'm just kind of sidebarring because this I'll be in the meeting looking at everybody like, look at this person. Now we looking at everybody in the meeting here. Here go Miss Belcher over here, like, yep, this shit about to start. Yeah. You see it right there. Let's go.
Suggesting what we do. So that's what I'm asking. And you can tell the people, of course, I'm gonna say what I'm gonna say, but it's your agenda.
Well, I explained it's a severance arrangement, so floor is yours.
Okay, so I guess Trustee, I don't want to explain to the people what it is that they're doing. Okay, so we had a meeting June, I would say, first week of June, in regards to creating a severance package for an employee that got terminated at the Village of Dalton. The employee only been in office, well, worked with the village for 5 years. So the board sees fit that the person should get a payout. My advice as mayor was to not do so, that I don't think we should create things of this caliber, because once you do this, you're gonna open Pandora's box. Half of the time when people do get a payout like this, they've been there for 30 plus years. It's not created for people that's at will or people that think the village owes them anything. Everybody that works in politics or have a political position or however you guys want to phrase it, is at will. When you're at will, you can get fired for any given reason. So I just want people to know that I am not in favor of creating this. I think this is going to open up Pandora's box when it comes to other employees that in here got fired, got terminated, and they feel that they can come and get a payout because they was terminated. So that is my synopsis for it. Anybody have anything to say? Any trustees?
Sure. Then I need to recognize.
Sure.
So in regards to this matter, I don't know, I don't know if it's not like the employee or exactly what we're doing.
You went in and out.
Okay, can you hear me, man?
Yeah, go ahead. You went in and out. Go ahead.
Okay. In regards to the severance package for the employee, this is something that I agreed upon or I was in favor of because I felt like, and I know he stated it's politics, but I just felt like personally, the worker was a good employee. She's been a good employee for us, and due to the circumstances, I felt as if I'd like to give her severance since she no longer works with us, and I didn't feel personally as if just not giving her anything, considering the fact that she was fired.
Okay. Thank you. Anybody else? No one else? Okay. So everyone said it's taken for the record, and I will try to make sure that everyone sticks to transparency as it relates to talking to the public and just state the facts of how you feel instead of just saying you guys feel that a person should just get.
I put my hand up because the mayor was talking. I said, wait, can I add to this conversation? Let me add a little bit to this conversation. I first want to just address one of the comments. I appreciate you, Ms. Graves Secret. Thank you for saying this has been an awesome live. I appreciate you. I'm trying not to be biased at all. Real is real. But in this particular situation, it touched with me. Now, I'm going to always give you real life situations. I worked in corporate. Now, for me, this says a lot. I don't know specifically what happened with this worker, but if the position was at will, and then you had parties around in positions of authority that say, hey, we need to decide on a severance packet for this person, and this person only been with the company 5 years, that says to me something grossly negligent happened, something really bad happened, and they may be wanting just to, keep things moving. Now, the reason why I say that, because in Georgia is an at-will state too. So I don't know if Illinois is, but she said government positions, you're at will, especially knowing that you're coming in under a new cabinet. If the person was there for 5 years, they were under the other mayor. So whoever this is, Tiffany felt like she had the right, clean shop. But in my particular situation, it was so gross. I was a PRN nurse and I wrote a long resignation. I wasn't fired, a long resignation. And I said, hey, I got 8 days on the schedule. Let me know what you want to do. I'm willing to come in. If you're going to treat me right, da-da-da. And they called and said, I'm so sorry, all the things that you went through, da-da-da-da-da. We're going to pay you your 8 days and we wish you the best. Now, first I took offense, like, what the hell? But then I thought about it. I said, this is an at-will state. Why would they pay me as a PRN? Because basically either I had a state claim or a federal claim. So this could have been a protective mechanism for Dalton not to be sued. But I would say, if Ms. Henyard wants people to be transparent, why not be transparent? I know Ms. Norwood was trying to be politically correct, but to say her personal feelings, because she felt personally this person was a good worker and they was there for 5 years, they should get a severance pay after being fired, then that don't coincide. So I just had to highlight that. I think that they should have pushed back a little bit more and explained why. That may would have highlighted some of the disparities that was going on in the workplace related to the transition and what Henyard was doing. You see what I'm saying? You got to use your position correctly. And hey, we out here in front of the public and you want me to put it out there, I'm gonna put it out there. So that's what I think they should have did, been more transparent and not afraid to say why they was doing this. But this do tell you that some bad things were happening right at the beginning, where they just felt like, let's Severance pay her out so she don't turn into a future Miss Williams and the other 3 or 4 people who are suing them. And we do have an update on Miss Williams before even the case. The agenda for that's coming up for June, their next trustee meeting, they're actually going to address Miss Williams. Miss Williams, the young lady who we talked about in our last live. So before we get off today's saga, we're going to just go to some of the bullets that they have up for, I think, a May 6th meeting or something like that. They're going to be addressing her, okay? And I don't want Tiffany here. You're talking about we won. I'm going to expose you, girl. Always talking about you won something.
Okay, yeah. So with that being said, first key comment.
Trustee Holmes. I'm sorry.
The devil.
I didn't hear you.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
You had an echo. Can you repeat your
Every time he talked.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
You're saying.
I got you. Thank you.
Off your mic.
Trustee Norwood.
Aye.
Trustee Steve.
Aye.
Trustee Belcher.
Aye.
Trustee House.
Aye.
And Trustee Brown.
Aye.
You see?
Motion passes.
Is this professional or this is personal from Ms. Belcher? Ms. Belcher, I will hope to get you in my live one day. I want to talk to you and ask you some questions, some hard questions. I love you, sis, but we need to talk, okay? This is personal. The Karens at my job that treat me like shit, I don't hold nothing personal to them. I handle my business, I expose their BS, and I document everything. That's right here, the personal is going to give you a heart attack, girly. You better let it go. You better let it go. So let's keep going.
All right, thank you. So, Mayor vetoed message to the Board of Trustees and the residents of Dalton. August 2nd, 2021 action. As reflected in the record, the majority of the Board of Trustees voted to approve a service agreement for former village administrator Elizabeth Scott. This action is not in the best interest of the
So she's trying to veto this right here. She already had it ready. She's like, I'm vetoing it.
village. It creates a liability against the village, and it requires the unnecessary spending of the village funds. First, the village administrator was an executive management employee who served at the pleasure of the mayor. In other words, she was an at-will employee. According to the law, an at-will employee can be terminated for any reason or no reason at all. Second, providing a service package to an at-will employee sends a negative message and sets the stage for any employee terminated in the future to demand to pay a service that they are not entitled to under the law. This will create a big burden and liability on the village's budget. Therefore, I officially veto this action and will submit my written objection at the next board meeting. Mayor Tiffany. So I'm just letting you guys know that it's coming. I'm going to read that into record, and that is for the record per key, and I will email that to you. Next, we have mayor's report. So let's go to the mayor's report.
And we fast forward that now.
Attorney Baselli.
Now we're going to get into one more section, okay? Because we're about 43 minutes into the video that I put together for these 3 months. So with part 2, I'm going to probably stop at like after this part. We're going to go into this settlement. Now, I want to talk about it because I had to listen to it once or twice to understand. But I believe it had to do with like the TIF agreement. TIF agreement has something to do with basically opportunity zones. And in Dalton, that's what they call it, TIF agreement. So TIF program. So we're going to get into this. And it seems like to me that this person project was being delayed or something. Okay. Which, and if y'all have to correct me if I'm wrong, because I had to listen to this 3 times because the way that they explained it to the board members, I was like, that's confusing. The lawyer was getting frustrated. This lawyer who was there, he's a piece of, and we're just going to get to it. Okay. And this created a big liability for you guys.
I do know that there's
an ordinance of the Village of Dalton, Cook County, Illinois, designating the West Sibley Redevelopment Project area. And C, consideration and approval of an ordinance of the Village of Dalton, Cook County, Illinois, adopting a tax increment allowance or allocation financing for the West Sibley Tax Increment Financing Redevelopment Project area. Is there a point of interest?
There, so moved on the point of consideration. I also would like to ask that there be clarity brought on this, and I would imagine, I think that's Attorney Vaselli. I do know that there was a settlement agreement on this for the TIF district to be pushed forward, and there were parameters around that. So if there could be some information brought to, is this document the same information that to conclude the settlement, and if there's any alterations, if you can elaborate on what those are.
And yes,
all right, let's pause here real quick, because I think if we look at some of the information that I have for you guys that I looked up what the TIF agreement was, it'll make more sense about what they were saying, because I was like, what the hell are they talking about? I'm confused. So I was like, what is a TIF agreement? Because I know it as opportunity zones. That's what I know it as a business owner. So this is your opportunity zone. So let's get about TIF, Illinois tax. Here we go. So municipalities in Illinois, can y'all see it? We got it on the screen. I'm gonna read it to you. Municipalities in Illinois and across the nation are facing numerous challenges, not the least of which is encourage economic growth and brightening decaying and unperforming areas in need of development and redevelopment. Most often, improving these areas require a public investment to reduce the extra costs and risks that private developers face in such areas. So if you don't know what opportunity zones is, I'm going to break it down how it works for you. The public wishes to see the development occur, but without increased taxes or reduction of other necessary services and project that would be required to pay for the public investment. That development and the redevelopment is usually requirements. So they use development companies. Okay. One tool successful in the use in Illinois and 48 other states to meet the economic development challenge is tax increment finances. TIF. So that's what they call it, but we call it opportunity zones. With the development tool, financial strap local governments can make an improvements they need, like new roads, sewers, provide incentives to attract new businesses or help existing businesses stay and expand. And TIF does this without tapping into general municipalities' revenues or raising taxes. And I'm going to explain to you how. Since the federal and state government have greatly reduced the support for local economic development, TIF, which is the tax increment finances, help local government attract private development and new businesses using local resources that can help, that does not depend upon increase of taxes or reduce other services. So new development and business means more jobs, more customers, in turn, more private investments in the areas that's needed. TIF projects also help retain existing business that might consider relocating away from the declining areas. These jobs and incentives, public and private, means more revenue to help the community meets its needs. Now, that's the face value of this. Now, I'm going to give you the good, bad, and the ugly. Okay, what happens in certain situations? Sometimes you get corporate that comes into these poverty-stricken areas, i.e., I'm going to give you Newark as an example. They sold Newark out under the Housing Development Act. So what they would do is offer a lot of properties at a discount price, or what they'll do is offer developers tax breaks to hold on the property for a couple of years, invest in the area, and with the tax breaks, they give them funding and seeding. So it's more cheaper for someone to pay someone who is educated, like for instance, where y'all have the food pantry that they're trying to make out there in Dalton. It would be economically better for you to go with the doctor who's doing it instead of actually the town do it on themselves. The doctor is a private investor. She's going to be using her funds and her revenue along with utilizing the money she saved from tax breaks. And there is an incentive that they see these businesses with some amount of money. So this is some of the concepts I want you to keep in mind when we're listening to them discuss it, because it can sound confusing. But these are the concepts. So you can have a whole bunch of private investors come in and they kind of like bring up the price value of your area a little bit too much. And that's when you have gentrification come. That's why it's supposed to be a balance. And that's why I teach people who invest in tax liens and tax deeds. You will get that commercial, okay? Because I'm my own sponsor. How to invest, get the land raw without a mortgage, and then go to the government if that's an opportunity zone and say, hey, I got this land, I want to build on it, you need housing, you need this, can you see it? Can I apply for the zoning opportunities, low income zoning opportunities? Okay, and then here it's called the TIF. So I want you guys to understand it's pretty good when you have the regular person like me and you get involved, because we get tax breaks and we're able to keep things monetary cost efficient for the public, because we understand we are the public. But when you get a lot of vendors who are in there who are corporate elite, that's when you get the inflation and you get people pushed out of their areas and things like that. So it's two sides to this TIF. Because I was like, what the hell is a TIF? But then when I saw it, I was like, oh, girl, that's equal opportunity zones. You know about that. That's what I teach on my course. You know, that's just not in my course, but just when I do Secure Your Energies, things to do with your property. I just share that information. I'll put the link at the bottom for you guys. So if you don't know what that is, that's what it is. So let's get back to what they were talking about. And it seems like they was in a jam with this thing, or they were just confused. So let's play it, because I had to play it 3-4 times. I was like, what the hell is the confusion here? Why are they talking about a base of $2,000 and then to $10,000? Let's get to it.
To answer your question, it is. And Attorney Basali, you have the floor.
Absolutely.
So this is Attorney Basali, and I want y'all to watch this jigger face. You could tell, like, you could read people. I'm gonna teach y'all how to read people here. I read people, and it's not judging them. They just can't hold their damn face. He was getting frustrated.
Sorry, ladies and gentlemen of the board, my computer is not functioning correctly. But thank you all. So there is a question about some of the numbers in the documents here tonight. There are two governing documents that we'll talk about for this process. The first is the settlement agreement. The settlement agreement stems from 2014 litigation between 300 West Sibley and the village. The settlement agreement.
Listen, so it starts off with a settlement agreement because they was talking so fast. These people was confused. In 2014, a business was suing Dalton in regards to one of these developments. Okay? Let's listen.
Is pending and contain provisions that include the owner's overall entitlement to reimbursement for eligible redevelopment project costs during the term of this agreement shall not be less than $2 million. You can find this provision under section 5.6 on page 6 of the settlement agreement. And essentially what that says is the owner will get at least $2 million from the TIF district. There's a second provision that's of note for us tonight, and that's on page 7 of the same document. And it says that subject to section 5.8 above, the owner shall be entitled to receive 80% of the annual incremental revenues generated by the subject property until such time as the owner has been reimbursed for its eligible redevelopment project costs. So from the settlement agreement, we have that for the life of the TIF district, up until all of the eligible redevelopment project costs are paid for, the owner will receive 80% of the tax increment generated on the property. The idea that there was a cap of $2 million is not accurate. The $2 million number is actually a minimum number, not an overall maximum number. What's actually more controlling in the TIF process is the redevelopment plan. The redevelopment plan was authored by Kane McKenna, which is a nationally recognized TIF consulting firm. They are on the line tonight. If you look at the redevelopment plan, draw your attention to pages 19 and 21 of the plan. On page 19, you'll see the total estimated budget is $10.5 million. Now, draw your attention to page 21, which says, and let me read this to you, upon completion of the anticipated private development of the RPA, and that means redevelopment plan, over a 23-year period, it is estimated that the equalized assessed valuation of the property within the RPA will be approximately $3 to $4 million.
Okay, let's stop right here.
So that says, again, these are all separate numbers.
Okay. Do anybody understand what he said? If you don't understand what he said, Dalton, I'm about to explain to you. This sounds like a bad deal to me. This sounds like a very, very, very bad deal to Lashley. I'm talking about from Lashley, not Grace Levi. Okay, talking about the investor. All right. First and foremost, this stems from a lawsuit from 2014 with a developer. This developer may have not been able to develop in this particular land for whatever reason. What they have came to is an agreement that the town of Dolton will reimburse them no less than $2 million in damages as a settlement or whatever they come up with. $2 million, no less. Or they can or they can go with the redevelopment plan, continue to work with this company, and until the company is reimbursed for all the losses for them having that property from 2014 to 2021, all of those back taxes, and these are estimate back taxes based on what they possibly could do, not what revenue is coming in, is estimate, okay? And because these are big developers, they have other projects that they can show that will show proof that allegedly that this is what they will have. So based on that, the Dalton Village has an option. Either pay a minimum of $2 million payout to sever this whole thing and its minimum, and it could be more, or go through the redevelopment plan with this developer. They said this redeveloper plan was based with this top company, redevelopment company, and the budget for this development would be at or about $10.5 million. Now, this $10.5 million will not be an investment from Dolton. It will be possibly the amount that the investor will put into the property over building up the lifetime of the property. At the same time, he's supposed to be receiving whatever tax revenues is coming in for this particular area. If they had to rent it out or whatever's going in, it'll be coming to them. Okay. But the issue is, if they put $10.5 million into a property over 23 years, you heard them, the property will be valued between 3 to 4 million. Now, I know you're saying, oh, well, that exclude the income that it may make. I'm talking about the base. If I got to put $10,000 in $10 million into something, $10.5 million, possibly a budget, whatever that project going to be, that project at the end, it better be double and triple. That's how I think. That's why I invest in tax liens and tax deeds. If I'm going to invest in a house, I'm not buying a $300,000 house. I'm not no damn fool. I'll buy it for the back taxes, about $5,000, fix it up, do whatever I need to do, get it up to par, and sell it for market value. That's what makes sense to me. What I'm hearing here is a bad deal. Now, what scared them is that I think when you have the option of $2 million plus in settlement or going through with a redevelopment plan that may bring you income later on in the future, and you know that in the village you need development companies to come in, that you need this area built up. So I just had to share that with you guys. I want y'all to listen to what they say and you make sense of it. But I had to listen to it 3-4 times because the way they were explaining it, it was like ridiculousness. It was ridiculous. So let's get to it.
So that says that at their estimate, their guess, informed guess, but guess, is that when this is all done, the property will be worth $3 to $4 million. What's most interesting, most controlling on this is the aforementioned $10.5 million number. That number is the overall legal budgeted amount that you can spend on the TIF. And I want to be very clear here. That doesn't mean that we have to spend it. That doesn't mean that we should spend it. That means that we have the legal capability of spending it. It is a controlling number here. We don't need to spend every dollar of it. All we need to do is not spend more than that and spend it within and pursuant to the terms of the settlement agreement. There's no $2 million.
And that TIF budget is that TIF budget he's talking about is going to pay out whatever incentive that they decided with the TIF program. For instance, if I was a developer, I'll get 20% off of tax deductions, and I'll get a stipend for $10,000 every quarter to help infuse into my business. So the TIF agreement offers up to, they said, I don't know, $10 million for one vendor. I wouldn't think so, but let's keep listening.
$10 cap. The $2 million is a minimum. The cap from the settlement agreement is 80% of the tax increment generated. the tax under the TIF ordinances is the $10.5 million budget that we can spend but don't need to. And I want to make sure, Trustee House and Madam Mayor, that everyone is clear about the difference between these numbers. These numbers are wholly unrelated. They are as different as hot dogs and ice cream cones. One has very little to do with the other. Trustee House, does that help?
I would say that's a good start.
My baby confused. Jason House is confused right here.
Sure. Having said that, the documents that we have now, I think the main question is posed, because I definitely want to make sure that we're honoring the settlement agreement. So the documents proposed, are these the same? Is this the same information consistent with the agreement, or have there been adjustments to the original settlement, to the settlement agreement? I'm assuming both are will keep us in compliance with the agreement. But is this document the same as the settlement agreement, or is there anything different on here?
So there are two separate legal documents. One is a plan that's required under the TIF Act, and the other one is a settlement agreement that is an attempt to close out or dispose of the litigation.
You see what I'm saying? You see what I explained? There are two different things that they could choose here: to settle it out or to go with the TIF agreement and continue to do business with this vendor. And it looked like the vendor is going to come off like a fat rat.
Has there been changes on them? As far as I know, since this document, the TIF plan has been on file. It has not changed. The budget has not been increased. But to answer that question better, I would turn this over to Mr. Bob Richlicki, who is a nationally recognized TIF consultant with the firm of King McConnell. Bob?
Yeah, thank you, fellow members of the board and the mayor. As Mr. Vasali indicated, they are two different documents. The idea was, in relation to the trustee's point about the settlement agreement, was we had hoped that the plan would give enough flexibility to the village. And in order for you to comply with the terms of the settlement agreement, and without knowing exactly what's going to go there, I mean, that's the big unknown. We had to put some guesstimates in there. That's why the budget number was $10.5 million. Again, if you put a gas station on that site, it's not going to go anywhere near $10 million. If you have a strip center or two strip centers there, maybe a small food store, then possibly you get closer without knowing that in advance, because the village board hasn't approved anything yet. We wanted to make sure that you had the most flexibility. So the idea being is that there's a number in there which sets out what the eligible costs are. The real number that's going to comply with the settlement agreement will be in part what you allow to be built there and what they generate in taxes. If they don't generate, for example, if they don't generate $2 million in taxes, they can't get the $2 million. That's the bottom amount. If they generate $3 million, it is possible for them to get $2 million and then 80% of $3 million. All the plan was meant to be is comply with the Illinois statutes, which we have to comply with in terms of what is in the plan. And secondly, the budget is to give the village flexibility going forward. Those were really from our end. When we drafted that plan, that was the key for us to put in there for the village.
So they are all confused. Everybody is quiet here. We're going to be getting to the end of our live here because I know people are getting tired. But basically, they're confused, guys. Either they can take the $2 million settlement that is like the minimum, and plus the person needs to be reimbursed 80% of the time from 2014 to 2021, or they can go through with the TIF agreement. The original budget that these people came up with was allegedly $10.5 million. And it's some part of that money, I believe, that they have to match because they made an agreement with this vendor. So he said, you got two different documents here. Either you want to squash to get the hell out of this, or we're going to do an agreement to get this activity rolling.
Any questions? This is Trustee Brown. So how do we arrive at $4 million?
In terms of the EAD, again, without knowing exactly what would go there, we looked at what, let's say, a 20,000 foot to a 50,000 foot retail facility would be, and we kind of reverse engineered it. Again, if it's, for example, if all that goes on there is a gas station, it would be lower than that. If you had a 2-story building on there, it'd probably be higher than that. It's important to point out that the number on page 26 or wherever Mr. Ruselli pointed to is an estimate.
This is not good, y'all. This is too abstract. You don't set up a business agreement and you don't know what type of business that you're restricting these people to put on. And this is what Miss Tammy is going to highlight. How did you get this $4,000 possibly to $10,000? It depends on what we're going to put down there, what we can bring. And this is what she's going to highlight. So she did ask some good questions. And I think she understands kind of what's going on. She does. I'm just going to give it to her.
And it's meant to be an estimate. It's our best guess at this time. And real life is going to dictate whatever that number is. But again, we kind of reversed engineer. We knew it was there in terms of the old grocery store and the square footage that was there. And we kind of we took something a little smaller than that and something a little larger than that to get to that number, 4 million EAD.
So again, we don't have an idea of what we would like to put there, correct?
We do not, no. That is the purpose of the plan, is to give the village force. This plan does not take away any of your entitlement or your planning processes. The plan really is kind of an umbrella. It says that in the event the village of Dalton wants to redevelop something here, these are some of the general parameters. You have the boundaries, we had to put that have to be fixed. We had to put the boundaries of the area in there. We put an upside number for the budget and we had our best guesstimate of what the value would be there. Again, because of this retail, you got to have parking there. So we ballpark what the building footprint would be, and that's where we came up with that number.
And trustee, if I may, Bob, there is some reference to having a pseudo anchor tenant in the settlement agreement, and that means a single tenant occupying at least 30,000 square feet.
There you go.
Of the current building, representing at least 75% of the existing square footage on the property.
They need to scrap this, baby. I'm just honestly saying, because they're talking about possibilities here. Oh, a possible pretender to come in this amount of square foot and use it and pay taxes. No, this needs to be drawn out, people. Black people, this is where Lashley come in. I am technical. I want to know how it's working, when it's working, who's paying this much, who's paying that. That's what I do. This right here, nope. I need more information. I'm sorry, I can't agree. I can't. I need detail. But if it was already set up from 2014, and whoever ever approved this project was a whole fool, because it's not a project. It's just a development company you made a contract with, and they say we could develop anything you want to. When the time comes, you decide. No.
Examples of suitable anchor tenants include grocery stores, home improvement stores, automobile dealers, or other large sales tax commercial entities. And that's on page 5 and 6 of the settlement agreement. So much like the reference that Mr. Richlicki made to page 21 of the redevelopment plan, we have an idea of what we're looking for, but are not necessarily constrained by that. There is flexibility for the village under the settlement agreement.
Right. And all we did, like I said earlier, is try to kind of reverse engineer. Whether it was 30,000 feet or 40,000 feet, that kind of framed it. But again, I just want, it's not meant to limit the village. It's an estimate, and it's an estimate in the plan. And whatever you dictate or real life deal that's done, that will ultimately control. And they'll control how much taxes are generated.
I'm sorry, y'all. I'm not an approval of this. This sounds dangerous for your tax money.
Any other questions?
Yes. Was there a particular date? I'm just going to ask him, was there a particular day that we had to make this decision?
Yes. So our deadline was September 3rd. So we got to have a special board meeting because our next board meeting is not due till September 7th, next week Tuesday. So that'll be real past the deadline.
Correct.
Yeah. And one more question, because I know that it was something that administration before us had already kind of worked things out.
Mm-hmm.
What would, just so I'm clear before I make my vote, what was the change? I know that he stated a few things, but what was the ultimate change, I guess, in the dollar amount in regards to the TIF? Because I know before I heard that it was like 2 million when I went back to the meeting and looked at it, and I said there was 2 million in the past. So what was he saying about the increase from the 2 million once before that the board agreed on to now?
Okay, I'm gonna put the time back on.
And I apologize, trustee, my computer's literally just not working. So the $2 million amount is the amount that they said when this settlement agreement was proposed, that they would pay no less than in tax increments. That's where that number comes in. And that's the only reference to $2 million in either the redevelopment plan or the settlement agreement. The budget that's been on file for the TIF district since, I believe, January the 11th of 2021 has been $10.5 million. Again, I'll ask Mr. Richlicki to confirm that, but those are just two separate measures. One is how little amount we can give them under the settlement agreement.
Right.
And the other measure is what's our legal capacity to spend tax increment or TIF under the redevelopment plan.
That is correct. They're two different concepts, and that's well stated.
What I will say, I will hope, I swear to God, that $10.5 million of that full TIF don't go to one vendor. That's all I'm saying. That is just all I'm saying right now.
Got it. So in regards to the budget part, what we're saying is between one amount and the 2.5 million.
Well, I mean, the budgeted amount is a maximum capacity. So it's like our appropriation ordinance. We're filling up, essentially, think of it like filling up a cup of water. You can fill it up, you can spend up to $10.5 million. That's the capacity that we can fill it up to. We can't, without going through extraordinary stuff, we can't spend more than $10.5 million. But Trustee Norwood, I want to make something very clear. That does not mean we have to spend $10.5 million. That gives us the legal capacity to do so. Does that mean we will? No, it doesn't. It doesn't at all. This may not generate 10.5 million.
That's the key.
That's too much.
That's
I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that we're not going to use the $10.5 million. I don't want it on the paperwork. I don't want you to even think that you can play with $10.5 million. Do anybody agree with me? I don't care who it is. I'm not about to play with you. That budget better be enough for more than one vendor, because I don't like the way this sounds. This is coming to an end, y'all, but y'all going to see some of the dilemmas that Dalton is facing. And that's why it's so important for us to see the finances, for you guys to see it, to go over, to see if you're actually in a deficit, because things are looking really, really shady.
What will the TIF generate? And then your settlement agreement sets a floor and ceiling, but it all depends on what's built there and what kind of taxes are going to generate. And the board controls it.
Okay, because I guess this is what I'm wondering. I'm just wondering, I understand that we have to vote now, but it seems as if we'll vote now, but we still won't know when we're making our vote what to vote there. So I guess I'm wondering, let's just say, will we make that decision? We still make the decision to vote at the moment, and then how later on you'll agree on what to go there?
Trustee Norwood, that's an excellent question.
That's right.
And most of the time, many times, when a TIF district is passed, some of the best TIFs I've worked with, we didn't know what was going there at that point in time. We knew we had a property that needed redevelopment. We knew we needed to give them governmental funds to go forward, but we were unsure at that point in time what would go there. It happens all the time. Literally, one of my most successful developments, we re-tipped the property, and Amazon built a station out there. I'm not saying Amazon's coming to Dalton, but I'm giving you a real life example.
You knew Amazon was coming to your area. Don't lie to them.
Of the fact that we don't know, but that's okay. The TIF Act allows for that, and that's why there's a 23-year period in here. So and one other thing, I'll let you go. Yeah. We do have some parameters under the settlement agreement of what we're going to have in a redevelopment agreement. But I assure you, Trustee Norwood, and I guarantee, before any redevelopment agreement comes back before this board, you will know what the terms are. You will know what the uses are. If there's zoning that needs to be going through there, it will have to go through that process. It will go through the business license process. You will have numerous checks and balances at this point in time to make sure that this is a suitable development for the village involved.
No.
Yeah. Okay. And just one last question, because it's all becoming a little bit clearer. Let's just say, because I hear you saying that we have up to 10.5 million, but we don't necessarily have to spend that. So I guess my next question is, will it come back before us when you all come up with an amount? Let's just say when you all do have an idea. Does that come back before us again for us to decide, or is it like, hey, 10.5 million was spent and this is where we are?
It'll come back before you. It'll come back before you.
Okay.
This Trustee Brown, I have one question. I can't figure out what page it's on. I'm trying to locate it, but it did say it was a family entertainment center. Could possibly go there.
So I'm going to pull up the settlement agreement, Trustee Brown.
Okay.
One moment. So I did not write the settlement agreement, and I'm not going to relitigate the way that it's drafted.
Okay. Now start to look at his mannerism, y'all. This is when y'all gonna see a shift. I want y'all to have some discernment when y'all can see people. I don't care what they say. It's their whole face. Now start watching how he transitioned into frustration.
It doesn't really provide for us a lot of specificity. It's vague. And while some people might think that's good, I would prefer to have a little bit more structure.
It's not good.
It's not anything we can do at this point in time. But let me read to you what the examples are. It says examples of suitable anchor tenants include grocery stores, home improvement stores, automobile dealers, or other large sales tax producing commercial entities. But that's just an example. There's no strict definition of a suitable anchor tenant. So there is flexibility for the village to choose a development at this point in time. Is there stricture that says it will be a Zayres or a Kmart? And I'm using those examples because they're not in existence anymore, make it a little easier. It does not say that. What it says is examples of suitable anchor tenants include grocery stores, home improvement stores, automobile dealers, or other large sales tax producing commercial entities. So that could be what you were talking about because it's a sales tax producing commercial entity. Any such sales tax producing commercial entity is an example, but we're not bound by that example. Does that help, Trustee Brown?
So other could be anything.
I mean, it is
anything that would generate revenue is what you're saying.
Yeah, yes, absolutely, absolutely.
Even with that, we still have to keep into consideration. I don't know any of the other trustees remember, but talking to some of the residents, entertainment was definitely not one of the things that the residents chose to come back to that actual address again. They were totally against anything with entertainment because of the traffic.
Trustee Brown, that's an excellent point. And it's something we'll talk about later on. Tonight, we're here to talk about the TIF ordinances. 3 ordinances that need to get passed pursuant to the Tax Increment Allocation Act. That is not germane for tonight, but it's something we could talk about later on down the road.
Damn, Cook County got the most.
If I can, one more for attorney.
Musical chairs here, everybody.
Again.
Okay, so I want to, because of your point to Trustee Brown in terms of
Look at his face. Y'all see that, y'all? That's when the devil starts showing his face. Look at him.
we're voting on tonight because I think
and look at this Grim Reaper. I'm sorry, I'm getting y'all know I'm getting the end. I'm gonna crack some jokes. Look at Trustee Holmes or just quiet like a Grim Reaper.
at least what I'm trying to focus on is make sure that we remain compliant with the settlement agreement, and so I'm getting from there that that's accomplished in here. So there are future steps. Then it sounds like to this deal. Can you kind of talk about tonight? Because I think we want to make sure we do what's compliant with the settlement agreement, but not making any adjustments. Just sticking with the settlement agreement and then talking about what are the next steps of this process.
It's excellent, Trustee House, and I'll answer those questions. So let's think of it as a 2-step process. The first, and there's multiple more steps in that, but the simplified is a 2-step process. The first step is passing and approving the TIF district. That's what we're here for tonight. That's what we posted for, and that's why we're having a special meeting to make sure we're in compliance with law. The second step is entering into a redevelopment agreement with parameters as set forth in Article 5 and 5, 6, and 7, or later articles of the settlement agreement. And we will do that at a later date. A proposal will come to the board. The board is required to vote on that proposal, and then we go forward. But tonight we are just here to review and consider for approval the 3 ordinances to pass the TIF as required by the settlement agreement. Does that help, Trustee House?
That does. I mean, I guess in short order, maybe I'm putting more words to it. So just yes or no. If we're doing this now, we're only doing what the settlement agreement is, and we're not making any adjustments to the settlement agreement.
That's correct.
He's confused.
That's it for me.
Thank you, Trustee House.
Any other questions?
Sorry.
Yeah, one more question.
Look at him. Look at his face.
I like this chair.
Last question.
That's how they get sarcastic. I love this chair. That's how I be able, it's amazing here. Look at him being a dick. Look at his face. I'm sorry, y'all.
So I heard you state that the minimum again was $2 million.
Right.
So at this moment, when we make our vote, is that vote for the $2 million?
No, it's not. It's a good question. It's a good question, Trustee. The vote, and if it goes back to Trustee House's question, the vote tonight is just to pass the TIF districts. That's all it is. It has nothing to do with the terms of the redevelopment agreement, which I will bring back to you when we're there. We're not there yet. All we're doing tonight is passing those 3 ordinances to get the TIF district underway.
Okay, so you're pretty much saying right now we're just agreeing to approve the TIF, but later on we will have more information to decide on things such as the $2 million was that amount and then the amount for the budget.
Absolutely, Trustee. Well put.
Yeah, so it's going to come. So even if we choose to approve it tonight we're just approving to go forth with something that the previous administration had already voted on, and we're just saying, hey, we're going to approve it since they've already agreed upon it, but it'll be brought back to us in regards to the terms and the amount regarding the money and what it will go.
I couldn't have said it better myself, Trustee. That's exactly right.
Okay, just want to make sure we're clear. All right, thank you.
This is bad.
Before I get up, I'm getting older, so it's a little harder for me to get up and down. Before I get up, are there any more questions?
There's one. So there's no dollar amount.
No.
You're choosing either or. All right.
Okay.
I think this is it.
I'm back. All right. Thank you, Attorney Valley, and thank you, Mr. Ma.
All right, this is where we're going to stop at right here. Okay, so in my opinion, if y'all guys can rewatch this yourself and put the links at the bottom of the original videos, but I don't think that this is a good redevelopment plan. I would have scrapped the plan. I would have took the $2 million minimum settlement and see how much it would have been. Asking the lawyer, would it have capped at some point more than 5 million. Okay. Because basically by them not going with the settlement for the 2 million that they seemed like was a lot, they opt to do the settlement agreement, which is basically the redevelopment plan, which entails one, the vendor will at least get $2 million in reimbursement, period, at least. Okay, regarding taxes that was supposed to be or could have been collected from 2014 to 2021. So the vendor already coming in hot, making money off of something they ain't got. Secondly, the redevelopment plan, the budget is too damn high. What did they say? $10.5 million that you give them for a budget or y'all agree to, and the property will only possibly be worth $3 to $4 million in the span of 23 years. Am I crazy? And I mean, is this don't seem weird to you? It doesn't seem like a good plan to me. Okay. And that's just me being frugal. I don't play around with my money. I don't play around with investing. So this is what I wanted to show you guys. This is just some of the resources. If y'all want to know a little bit more about that TIF plan, it looks like Cook County got the biggest amount of budget for that TIF plan. This is on the Dalton website. So people who want to develop out there, you got the residents. You need to know what fund is available. The district is of Illinois, and this is where the TIF real estate increment generalized where most of the money is at. It's right here in the city of Chicago. Well, Chicago is the area that got the biggest amount. Let me say that. And then Cook County is next. Okay. And they got adjacent counties like little rich counties. That's these right here. So this county got the most right here. And they said the blue, I don't even see where the blue at in this map at all. But you can see the other three. Where is the Cook County right here? Why they got Cook County in blue and red? Okay, Cook County, this don't even match. They thing don't match. Cook County supposed to be blue. You see what's going on in those? I'm so OCD. I said, what the hell? Your grids don't even match. But this is some of the information if you guys are interested in investing in Dalton and being a private investor. You can do so. They have projects there that will help you as a regular person, a business owner. One of the things that I highlighted is that you yourself can go in as a company and apply for government grants and loans and other incentives through sam.gov. And that what they were talking about. They needed a grant writer because they didn't even have their stuff registered properly on sam.gov to get allocations of money. So that's why I'm a little bit skeptical too about the things that Henyard was saying about all of this money coming. You got to prove this, that, and the third, because me knowing how grants work, the approval process in itself takes a while. Even loans, business loans or whatever, the approval process, writing out the terms for it takes a while. And then you being funded takes a while. So I think that's why a lot of the board members are very skeptical of the money that Henyard is spending. She's spending it before she get it. And she's not showing them. But I will say in this particular episode, our episode number 1, it was only supposed to be less than 2 hours. We did see some of the changing in faces in some of the situations that highlighted upon our trustees. Nobody's perfect. I think that we should call out everything on both sides to see where all of this has occurred, how we can fix it. Do some of these people need to be put in the same positions again? Because election time is coming. Hold on one second, y'all. I'm kind of switching some things up. I'm sorry. Election times is coming. I'm getting my music ready for my extra. And you guys could be the next trustees or be the next mayor. How about that? So I do want to send a shout out to Jedediah because, you know, even though I do be thinking he be distracted sometimes, but he on it. Allegedly, the Senate had passed the bill, tried to get a bill passed to cap or to stop HB 4488 that I put in the community that people of Illinois need to go talk to their governor about to get it passed. So Tiffany Henyard does not have the right to give herself an increase and the next mayor get a decrease. She's already setting up shop This lady is a monster. And we do have the clip of her doing that. And allegedly she was doing it under the guise of saving the county money. And the board approved it. Okay. I'm just being honest. So I want to say thank you so much for being here with Grace Levi. I will be back. We will have our episode number 2, most likely on Mondays. I'm going to try to do this every Monday, but we are going to come back with at the end of this week and follow up with some of these employment cases that involves Dalton. There's 2 more employment cases that I wanted to review, and then there was another case that was connected to Miss Williams' case that I think she's involved in. So I know we're still going to be doing that. And I just want to say thank you for being here with Grace Levi on Uncensored Enlightenment Talk. I do have a lot of other content, guys. So hit the other content too. I'm here to enlighten and to love and to keep people growing and elevate. Take whatever information I share with you, make it your own, throw it in the garbage, do something with it. But I just need you guys to think outside the box.
Thank the Most High for taking the things of the world off of my shoulders. Yeah. Thank you, Father. Lord, you made my desires pure. Yeah. You made my desires pure. Yeah. You made my desires pure. Yeah. You made my
Would you like to learn a brand new and innovative way to invest your extra money that has a low barrier to entry and low competition? What if I told you that it is a guaranteed method to get up to 18 to 20% return on your investment? Tax lien and deed purchasing is the only way to get into the real estate market through the back door. No credit and no loans needed. This method isn't commonly taught, and therefore the competition is very low, for now. Put together a 14-hour info-packed course which will teach you everything you'll need to know to get started. Learn at your own pace, step-by-step guided video and aids to start you on the TLC deed investment process. The course offers many learning tools for new investors, helping ensure you safely invest in tax liens and deeds. Contact us today and join the buyback team.